Hello, and hopefully everything is working. My name is TJ. We're streaming out of Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington, getting ready for a night of some Legacy action. I hope that you are enjoying yourselves. I, of course, have some big news that was already announced previously on the last stream, but still, good news indeed. I found out Wednesday that we are, in fact, now partnered, or approved to be partnered. So, after a small bit of work from myself, including some signatures and filling out some forms or whatever, then we're partnered. We did it, everybody. We did it. We did it. Throw Rocks, it's good. Oh, I'm sorry, Throw Rocks. How off is the sound? Is it bad? Because I have no idea how to fix that. Yes, John Hightide, I fully remember it. But yes, we did get it. I just gotta finish some things out. I'm hoping maybe mid next week or something like that. We'll have it, which is unfortunate because next weekend we will not be streaming. Friday, Saturday, and probably Monday. Monday we should be. Next Friday and Saturday we will not be streaming. We will be in Dallas for GP Dallas, and that'll be a lot of us, so we will not. But still, we'll have fun tonight. We'll do cool things. And then, when we get back from Dallas, maybe we'll be ready to start partnering up and doing some subs and seeing what happens. Yeah, should be fun. Should be a good time. I'm excited. Legacy tonight, I think it's going to be 3 or 4 rounds. We'll find out. Netherbricks, it's good to see ya. John Hightide, next Friday evening I will be in Dallas. It's going to be pretty difficult to stream from there, unfortunately. But I'll tell you what. Oh, okay. Hold on. I'll just do this. Let me know. Let me know. Strifo, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. I hope you had a fun stream. I saw you were streaming, like, really recently. Like, really, really recently. So we shall see. Troy, it is significantly more in buttons than you expect, I promise. It's honestly just not worth the effort at this point, because last time I tried teaching about 4 different people how to run the stream, and none of them did it. After all of them said that they would. So, at this point, I'm just not going to deal with it until something changes. So, we will see, but that's just kind of where the situation lies at the moment. Round one up?
We're getting there.
Excellent. Thank you. Alright. Yeah. Last time was a big thing to where, I do appreciate the offer, Troy, and I would love to teach you how to run the stream. But it's going to be pretty difficult to do it in a week for you. Okay. Sound looks off by a couple of seconds? Really? Well. That is not good. That's not great. Wait, hold on. Nope, that's still muted. Huh. Teach you how to run the stream remotely? I'll see what I can do. Either way, yeah, I'd like to get to that point eventually, but when we went down to LA, I showed like 3 people, and I scheduled everyone, and I got everybody all set up to cover the stream for me across 3 different days, and we got it all good, and I had everybody, signed up, and they were all set, and they all knew exactly what they were going to be doing, and then we did not stream at all that weekend, and so that's just kind of where we're at this point. So maybe I would love to get to that point eventually, but for the time being, I think the deal is that I will dedicate literally all of my Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday nights that I can, and unfortunately that will include about 2 to 5 weekends a year in which I'm traveling to a GP. So that's kind of where I'm at. But hopefully we can get to a point to where that isn't the case, and we can instead just have every single day none of them off. So we'll get there. I'm still breaking your heart. At this point, my excuses are done. It is what it is. I can only do what I can do. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Looks like there's a good amount of you. We're going to have a fun time tonight. We're going to play some Legacy. I'm curious about if we're going to have 3 or 4 rounds. Should be a solid time. Should be a good time. I know that there's some cool decks out there. There's some blue-red Delver in the field. I think Joe's in the field with Enchantress, and I can't decide whether or not I'm going to put him on camera or not. You'll try and fill the Legacy void next week? That sounds fun. Scarlet Spud, I am at the moment. Stream live from the GP? Not yet, but maybe one day. Maybe one day. Can't wait till I make streaming. Cheerio Storm? That sounds pretty good. No, Strifo, we'll get you going. You'll fill the void next Friday, so you'll just stream during the same time and I'll host over to you. And we'll get it going that way. Does that work? Does that work, everybody? If Geek Fortress hosts Chase, who will be being amazing at that time playing some Legacy?
You want Coleman tonight?
Depends on what you're playing.
Miracles?
Sure.
Okay.
Where are you going to sit?
I'll be back to the wall.
Wait, is Coleman playing what I think he's playing?
What? He's playing lands.
Oh. Huh. Is that interesting of a matchup?
Can be.
Alright. So you're going to have your back to the wall?
Enchantress versus Storm.
You're going to have your back to the wall?
Yeah.
3 rounds tonight?
Huh?
3 or 4 rounds? 3?
3.
3? Cool. Alright. So we're going to have Justin versus Coleman. 2 people who have been hosts of the stream. Coleman is going to be on lands, and we're going to have Justin on miracles. Sliphorn, it's good to see ya. Good to see ya. What's the command for arm flailing? It's flail arms. Yes. Rob, it's good to see you. Hello to Tebin, Ninewalker, Troy, Scarlet Spud, Chase, John Hightide, Deadhead Mikael, 13th Fox, Atomic Panda, Tebin, Pimpabra, whichever that is, Netherbricks, Throw Rocks, J-Dag, Shade of Hades, and anyone else that I may have missed. It's amazing to see all of you. You're all incredible, and I look forward to seeing you more in the future. If you haven't yet, be sure to hit that follow button and get excited, because hopefully mid-next week we will have a sub button. Which, of course, means that if we get a sub button, it'll be unfortunately just in time for us to take a weekend off. But then we'll be back at it, and it'll be fantastic. Back at Matt? Yes, I am. Yes, I am, but it's going to be a fun night. Let's go ahead and head down, watch some Legacy. I will see you all there. Alright, players are getting ready, and we should be getting going. You're betting 10 Tommy Moonrays on lands. Ooh, nice. Will the drill come back? I don't know, actually. I have no idea where the drill ended up, so I just don't know. Ninewalker, good to see you. Noticed. Alright. You've heard countertop floating a 2 is GG. I imagine that it's pretty good against Life from the Loam. Coleman could just draw into it naturally. He also does have crop rotation, which could help get him to what he needs, but that's also still fairly problematic. But yeah, I mean, a countertop with 2 would shut down a lot of things in the deck. It would shut down the eventual punishing fire kill that can sometimes happen. Jay Covey, that is a beautiful sword. Congratulations on that. So from Coleman, we do have a Grove of the Burn Willows in hand. Let's see what else that we have got. It's a really good matchup. It depends on who you're talking about. Unless you mean, are you talking about me being alone in the booth is a good matchup? I'm not sure how to feel about that, because that's the last thing that I saw you talking about. Ooh, okay, so a Mox Diamond going to be joined by a Port kicking it off. Justin has a Volcanic Island, but he's not going to be doing a whole lot with his mana early on. He can fire down the Sense's Divining Top, and is at least getting a use out of it. But he's going to fire off the phasing. I like phasing. So we're going to fire off a Ponder. We're going for the shuffle, so we are just looking to get a blind draw off the top. We do still have access to the Sense's Divining Top, but I think he's making sure that he can at least be drawing cards off of this one, because if he's not going to have mana, then that top gets significantly worse. Feast and Famine Sword is your favorite. I don't know, I kind of, like, playing the top at least lets you do something with your mana every upkeep. When he taps that, you can activate it, but that's still not, like, that's the worst place to be doing it. I guess it sets up some draws. He's got some Force of Will going on in hand. Coleman with a Thespian stage available right now. Doesn't end up taking out Justin's land, not using that one yet, so he'll likely have another game plan for this turn. It could involve using the Thespian stage on one of Justin's, possibly, to get, I don't know, a blue mana, but that's not really relevant. And instead we're going to play down 2 tops on Justin's side of the field. And it looks like we're doubling up on Port, so Coleman's going to make another Port of Rishadan, or Rishadan Port, drop down a Thespian stage, and at the upkeep we're going to take down both of those lands. I like that from Coleman, having that other one. He does have a Grove of the Burn Willows, a crop rotation in hand. Interesting. Do we know if Coleman's on red-green lands or rug lands? I believe he's on red-green lands, but I can't guarantee that, John Hightide. So, Justin's got 1 mana, he kicks it back. More Thespian stages. And he's going to send it back. I think he's going to use 2 of them to keep down, likely leave him with the white mana, of all things. He's probably going to end up activating this top. So he's left with a single mana. He could actually cast a crop rotation and go for a Dark Depths if he wants to. But it doesn't look like he's willing to do that yet. Probably because of the just presence of counterspells, Force of Will, things like that. Especially because you don't want to sacrifice the land without actually making it worth your while. Here's a Wasteland, take down the Volcanic Island. Justin is left with basics, ends up tapping down the 2 of them, and decides to leave. Yeah, at least will likely end up tapping down. Coleman's putting on a show. Coleman always puts on a show. Because it's a Thespian stage. I get it. I get it. So leaving him with the red mana, no white mana. Actually, I like that a lot from Coleman. It's red is his lead. It's basically a splash color in this one, if that. And from Coleman's side of the field, looks like is that double crop rotation? Oh no, that's an exploration. That's pretty good. So you can drop that one. The problem is that you don't have any more lands in hand. That card is kind of dead at this point, or at least it's just not doing anything. Coleman could theoretically only tap down 2 of the creatures if he really wanted to, and then make a 3rd Thespian stage. So he's only going to tap down 1 of them, and it looks like that's his game plan. Yeah, I'm just not sure. Occasionally he's actually run some of the Red Elemental Blast in the main, so I just wasn't sure if it's in the main or in the side these days for Justin. But I agree that they're almost always in the sideboard. I just don't want to count it out entirely. So Exploration comes down. It's not doing a whole lot, and I think we're going to see a lot of Thespian stage coming down. We do see a Jace the Mind Sculptor, but with no real way of casting it is unfortunate. Red Elemental Blast was main during the Treasure Cruise era. He did it, I think it's just a meta call in general. When you're at a smaller meta and you can metagame more, it's less of a bad choice. For an open event, it's much riskier to run that because your unknown decks are much greater. But when you have a local meta, then it can become a little bit easier to make those choices. I'm not saying that he definitely has one in there, but I'm saying I would question it less. However, Stackzilla, I like that. 3rd color for EE. Good point. Good point. But mostly, it's a really low opportunity cost splash, all things considered. Though, mainboard Red Elemental Blast. For Justin. So he's got the available now. It's not going to be doing much in this matchup, but probably going to be one of the cards that comes out. But we do see it. And there's a gamble. I think we're going to be going for a Life in the Loam. Looks like we're going to fire this one off. Does Coleman then go for a crop rotation now that he's fired off all of these cards? Do you gamble that he doesn't have the other one? Okay. So, crop rotation on that, and does it resolve? Or do you pitch the counterbalance and leave yourself with almost nothing? At this point, Coleman probably feels fine about that. At least Justin has got functionally nothing going on at this point. So, we'll see. Looks like a lot of white cards he can at least handle. Oh, okay. So this one is actually going to happen. We sack another land. We get the Dark Depths. Now Coleman just needs to be cautious. Justin does have access to a Swords to Plowshares in his hand. I would love to see a situation in which Coleman ends up both activating for the Merit Lage. Ooh, and unfortunately he's not able to take down all the white sources because of this land coming down. So if Justin ever gets greedy and taps down one of his 2 white sources, that might be where we see Coleman fire this up. Use the Thespian stage to take some of those white sources down. We still need a little bit more mana to be able to fire that off really successfully, however. There is a Monastery Mentor. Coleman being a little bit more open, not taking down all of those lands right at the get-go. There is a Monastery Mentor. If he plays that one out, he'll be a little bit shy on the white sources. And it looks like we're going to take down one of them. And are we going to activate that? Interesting. So is he just going to gamble that Justin doesn't have it? Because Justin has got, I think, 2 Swords to Plowshares and 2 Monastery Mentor in hand, or at least 1 Monastery Mentor and 2 swords. Or you're going to go for another one? What do you grab at this point? I'm actually a little bit curious about what he's grabbing here. You could go for yet like another Dark Depths. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. He might just be firing this off to fire it off. Do you go for a Wasteland? Oh, because a Wasteland lets you take down one of those white sources. So you can take down one of those white sources. And then I think you've got 2 ports with the others. So maybe you pass the turn. Use this to take down one of them. Use the 2 Thespian stage to take down the others. And we get into a Thespian stage here. So he just needs to make sure that Justin doesn't have access to any white mana. Looks like we're going to take down, I think, a Tundra? Or I think probably a Plains. Unless he's not intending to fire off this Wasteland this turn. He could just take down the 2 Plains with the ports. And then at the upkeep, you could use... but the problem is that means that you still have a Summoning Sick Merit Lodge. Interesting. Back at Matt, I completely agree. I was questioning why he was looking at it. I wasn't thinking that he was actually going to. My apologies if that did not convey itself very well. But I was just kind of thinking out loud as to why he might ever grab that, and that just doesn't make sense to me. And now we've got backup Wasteland. We've got a bunch of ports. And looks like we are going to predict on Justin's side of the battlefield. Getting rid of that red Elemental Blast draws into a Force of Will and an island. If you can get a Life from the Loam, then you keep running it out till it sticks. That is absolutely true. I mean, Justin hasn't been able to assemble anything yet. He can hardcast this, however. So we'll see if that ends up being what happens. So he's going to take down, I think, those 3. The problem is that you don't want to activate this for a Merit Lodge just yet. Because if you go for that one, then he's... Yeah, this is... I think if you... Does one more land do it? I think one more land might do it. So if Coleman is able to draw into another land, he would be able to use the 2 ports to take down the 2 white sources. Then... he could actually have his Thespian stage cover it and go for the full attack. Huh. Interesting. John Hightide, we did see them earlier off of the top. He does have the red Elemental Blast in the main. So that's not a white source. If Cohen's able to get into just another land, I guess he's just going for the hard way, though. Slowly taking off some of these counters from it. And I think that's enough. If Justin doesn't play down a white source, then I think this does it. And unfortunately, he puts a white source right on top. So Justin is probably going to go for another source of that white mana, which just makes Coleman's job that much harder. He's going to need, I think, another 2 land to make this fire off successfully at this point. Though he can remove 2 counters from this Dark Depths. Huh. So we're going to tap down those 3. We do still have a fetch land available. We have the Wasteland that you could theoretically fire off, but that doesn't seem super wise. I think right now but the problem is Justin runs way more basics than... Really? Because I was just thinking he might have another play. He would at least have a dual land, right? Because he could port the fetch... Then if he decides to crack it, then you can use your Wasteland on whatever he grabs, but that's assuming that he doesn't have another basic plains in the deck. If he does, then that becomes that's at least not awful, and it just ends up putting yourself back a little bit. But that's similar to where I am. Okay. Well, because you could tap the Strand. If Justin doesn't have a basic plains, then I like that a lot. But if he does have a basic plains, then it doesn't do a ton, and it just slows down what one of your outs is a bit more. But I agree that it might be worth trying. But it looks like Coleman isn't interested in that one. He's more interested in seeing what he'll eventually go for. Looks like currently... I'm just going to see what other... It hurts you if your game plan is to be able to use ports on all 3 of them and then fire everything off. It means that you wouldn't be able to use the same number of them if he has the basic, and then now you're out another avenue for this port as well as activating, which is very, very, this long-sided route. But when the game has just been crawling on this long, then that's kind of where it actually ends up costing you 2 turns, because he still needs 2 more land to go for it. JP, the Magic Man, and thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's great having you. Welcome to the Fortnights. Because I think to have the mana for everything, it would take 2 more lands. If he ends up using the Wasteland on that, and it isn't successful, then he ends up behind. Though you could use the port on it just to force the interaction, because then you would be exceedingly close to going off with it. So I could see just testing the waters, but I wouldn't want to use the Wasteland on it. I can get behind that. So we're gonna fire off a gamble. So there's a Force of Will from Justin, not allowing that one. Peter5290, thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's great having you. My name's TJ, your name's Peter. Let me know, to the 2 of you who have hit follow recently, where you're watching from, what your favorite artifact is, and what your favorite sauce to put on pasta is. Oh yeah, if Coleman finds a loam with an exploration out, then he absolutely wins the game. Got a lot of lands to work with, a lot of ports on Coleman's side of the field. Drops yet another Sensei's Divining Top, and we've got a clock established on board. It's a prowess trigger, and Justin is very, very close to creating just a lethal board state. Just needs to be careful about tapping down too many of his white sources. I think you just force the fetch. So we at least get the fetch. If he doesn't... So... I think you need a Glacial Chasm this turn, though. He has yet another Thespian stage. Is that the 4th stage? Yeah, that is the 4th Thespian stage. So I think he needs a Glacial Chasm, but he does not have one. He could just go for it, but Justin's got the answer. He's got the Wasteland to try and take that down, but Justin's got the tops. I think he just got the win. Yep, I think that's it. I think that's all they wrote. So if Coleman had forced the fetch a previous turn, gone for the Wasteland, So then you wasteland that because he did have to go for that. Then you've got the double port. Can you activate that? And then Coleman takes down the win possibly last turn? Is that where that lines up? Maybe? It would have been close. It would have been close, Statico. I think that if he had gone for it when he just went for the island for no value, he could have gone for the fetch for at least a itty-bitty tiny bit of value. Though maybe there's a world in which Justin just lets it get tapped. Because I think Coleman was using all of his mana to do that, but then he can just actually... Yeah, because then he could just wasteland that. Yep. Alright, may have just waited a touch too long on that one. Of course, he may have been just under the assumption that the other basic island was in there. I mean, I think that it would have been correct to force it, but at this point, Coleman is just going for the line that, you know, maybe wins if Justin happens to not have it. But I think Coleman will at least learn from this one, and I can almost guarantee you that he's right now counting just how many basic planes are in this deck, and is likely going to change up his game plan the following turn. He's not dead yet, however, just because he is gaining... Oh no, actually, that is a lot of prowess with how much he did it, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Alright, so that is a game over. There's more of those monks that I thought there were, and Justin is going to take the win. Yeah, I think that you were right in that Coleman could have gone for that line maybe 1, possibly 2 turns earlier. Looks like some blood moons coming in, a wear and tear just to take down some of those enchantments. Surgical extraction for the life and the loam from Coleman's side of the battlefield. Not entirely sure what we'll see come in from that deck. Not entirely sure. So, let's see what we can find out. Is that what we want? That's what we want. Okay. Lands is hard. Yeah, lands looks like a lot of fun. He could go for a Besieju, so Besieju looks really good in this situation. How much practice does Coleman have with the deck? Almost none. Functionally, I think this might be one of the first matches that he's ever played with it. Might bring in Pithing Needle for the Sensei's Divining Top, or possibly, I guess, maybe you could hit Jace. The problem is, do those cards actually bother you that much? Divining Top, you could make an argument for yes, just because of how much it filters. Jace is not bad. I guess Jace actually bounces Merit Lage, which is pretty good, so maybe you could Pithing Needle a Jace. You could... How does Sphere of Resistance feel against this deck? Pretty good. Sphere of Resistance feels like it would be pretty good here. Coleman is just borrowing this deck tonight. I don't think he intends to play it for a long time. Caracas isn't great. Crows and Grip is okay, I guess. Where do you find Rogue's Gallery? That's a great question. Alright. There you go. But you can find it on all sorts of situations. I like the Rogue's Gallery. It's an absolutely fun group. And you can also type !Haunt. True, he does have Tireless Tracker. Oh, I'm not sure if he actually has it. You can type Haunt. If you follow that link, watch those streams, get those clues. There's 6 clues across 9 different streams. Todd Stevens recently joined the Rogue's Gallery. And maybe, like, you send that in, and you are entered in to win Damnation, Infernal Tutor, and Force of Will. Just by watching streams. This is the last weekend to do it. So find those streams, ask them what their clue is, narrow it down, send in your email. I'll tell you this, I think last time I checked, less than 10 people had gotten it correctly by watching enough of them to go for it. Which means that if you just put in that bit of time, find those streamers, ask them their clues, then you will likely... I mean, you've got good odds. You've got really decent odds. The drawing is going to be at the beginning of the 2nd. Or, I'm sorry, it ends the morning of the 1st. You're putting together the Miracles of Science deck? I've still got that, anytime I start typing, Miracles, that's the first one that comes up. Alright. Kitster, it's good to see you. Hello, I hope you're having a good night. My clue is that the card is either in Shadows over Innistrad or Eldritch Moon. It's in that block. Narrow it down. I just eliminated like 50 sets that you had to think about. It is in that block. I know that some other rogues are streaming tonight. I know that some other rogues are going to be streaming possibly after we're done. I'll make sure to host over to one of them if I can. We'll get you some more of those clues. And seriously, Infernal Tutor, Force of Will, and Damnation. Kidster, it is ever so slightly. Like, ever so slightly. And I don't know what it is. I'm hoping that it goes away soon. But I would need a David to fix it. So Coleman has an exploration. Justin's going to fire down a Sensei's Divining Top. Atomic Panda does have a clue. And now it is time to force it or deal with some trouble. And this gamble gets to resolve. Alright, but it is in Shadows over Innistrad block. It's in either that set or Eldritch Evolution. I'm sorry, not Eldritch Evolution. Eldritch Moon. Whatever. It's in that block, correct. Alright, so we are going to lose a land, but I can tell you probably what Coleman is going to be doing. So a Force of Will taking down the exploration. We fire off a Wasteland at Justin's land. Hey, I'm glad that we do, Pyroz. I'm glad that we do. So we do have a Dark Depths and a Thespian stage and a Life from the Loam in Coleman's hand. Fire off the Life from the Loam, call it a day. Ooh, and a Surgical Extraction in Justin's hand looks pretty good. Though that Wasteland also seems decent. So he's going to get back possibly a Wasteland and a Tranquil Thicket, which will cycle. And he's still got that engine in his graveyard. And we are going to Surgical it. So we look at the hand, we see all of those lands in it. And is this going to be a turning point for Justin? Huh. It's Eldritch Evolution? Nice. Totally is. I'm on board. I'm on board. I mean, that's pretty backbreaking for Coleman, but he can certainly operate it. Can certainly operate beyond it. Get surgical. That's what happens. That's what happens when you mess with the warrior. So it looks like the Crows Grips came in. At least 3 of those ones. 4. So a play set of Crows Grips come in. So Justin is looking like he's in a pretty okay position. There is still a Wasteland in Coleman's hand. Justin likely going to fetch for a basic. But I think that Justin is running pretty light on lands right now. He's got a Blood Moon, and I think that's pretty close to it. So we're going to go down to 17, and I would expect a basic. Just A, there's a Wasteland on the battlefield, and B, he's got a Blood Moon in hand, which he's hoping to eventually cast. I think Coleman right now is really looking for a port. Really, he's got a crop rotation would not be bad. He no longer has the Life in the Loam, which is going to be pretty rough to deal with. A gamble wouldn't be great. Man, Life in the Loam is such an engine. Such an engine. And it looks like a Scalding Tarn going to go to the top for Justin. This top saving him a good amount of effort. So, going to fire that one down, kick it back to Coleman. Justin just looking to find that third or is that the third land in hand? Yes. So next turn, Justin's going to Blood Moon Coleman out of this game. If Coleman doesn't have an answer, this is it. Let's take a look at that top. I mean, none of that is particularly incredible. Like, actually, I kind of like the counterbalance, but you don't really need it at this point, do you? Probably just, yeah, so we're just going to go for the Ponder. Fetch again. All you need is a red source. And we are going to, I mean, unless Coleman has got the Crows, if he drew the Crows Grip, he does have a way out of this. So if he floats the mana in response, we're going to cycle. I think we got a crop rotation. Okay. We'll keep digging. We'll keep digging. We're getting a basic land. Coleman might be... I mean, he's not really. He's not really okay. But now he just needs to draw a Crows Grip. And he should be okay. So, he's got 4 of them in the deck. He can draw that Crows Grip and just get right back to work. One nice thing is that Justin did go for some fetches to even fire this off. So Coleman does have access to this wasteland if it does happen. So he's going to play a mountain and kick the turn back. Huh. How's it going?
Do you need a co-host?
No. Alright, so we have got the, since it's dividing top, a Blood Moon, High Five and Liliana. Genie Master, it's good to see you. So, can Coleman get out of this? The best part is that Justin is stuck only under a single blue source, actually. Interestingly enough, Panda, you can win it if you show up to F&Ms. I was an Oath of Liliana. So we get a mountain from Justin. Justin actually shut off his own mana base for this. He's got only a blue source. So he might actually... Huh. This might be quite good. That wear and tear is not doing work. He does not like anything in that hand. He's locked in right now. This is curious. So Justin just functionally broke his own back against this. Huh. Dark Depths would get counters because it enters with them and then it is a mountain. But it just enters with them. It's not an enter the battlefield trigger. It's not when it enters the battlefield it gets triggers, anything like that. It just enters with those cards. So as you're playing it and as it's coming into play, it's like, great, I'm taking these counters with me. And then it gets there and it's like, wait, I'm actually a mountain. Surprise. Okay. Ooh, Teddy Swint, I'm sorry to hear that. So we're going to use that red mana to take down the Mox Diamond, which is going to be followed up by a Tiger. Coleman continuing just to play out some lands. Justin finding the basics that he needs, both the plains and the island. He can go for the plains now to line up this singular white mana. Justin's mana base getting much better. This is likely going to lock it up. Unless, I mean, Coleman has got a world in which he gets it. Do we gamble for the Crozen Grip? Oh, yes. I like this. I like this, Coleman. You do it. You do it. We believe.
I know. By the way, TJ, if I wanted to lose with Blood Moon, I would keep playing Modern. That's what I'm getting. How do you know?
All right. We believe. Do we break free of the Blood Moon or... gamble for the win? Let's gamble for the win. Ooh, Coleman gets to keep it. Coral Dayton, that is some... And it makes it. Kicks it back to Justin. I actually like Coleman doing this. He's holding down Justin's mana as long as possible until the end of Justin's turn. If he were to go for it on his own turn, then it would make it much easier for Justin to use his mana effectively. Whew. Still, we're sitting with a lot of... Oh! And the Crozy Grip. What a surprise! What a surprise. Rebel, it's good to see ya. I'm glad you heard that quote. So now the Blood Moon is free. Justin has got his dual lands. No fetches available at the moment. And there is a good amount of white mana. 3 of it currently, with that Flooded Strand representing another one. We do have no Rishadan Port currently. And we actually got rid of one of them with that gamble. Is that another Crozen Grip? That's not bad. Huh. Okay. Geek Fortress playmat starting to show a little rare on the Rift Edge. I'm not sure what you mean by Rift Edge. Huh. Maybe we'll have to clean it. And look at that. We're going to take down the top. Justin down one massive enabler. Let's see what we end up with. And we're going to surgical. Huh. Well, this isn't great for Coleman. He's got a fetch land in hand. You've got Justin, who's at 15. I suppose you could go for the classic Punishing Fire beatdown game plan, but he's not. Oh, what do you even go for at this point? I don't even know what you go for. What was that? That was a red card, I think. Is he just going for the Punishing Fire? I don't think so. Possibly you could go for the Rishadan port? And just try and tap down enough of those sources? Gamble for gamble, and then gamble again. Oh, Boyle. Is Boyle in that sideboard? Is it? Is Boyle about to happen? And Justin draws the Force of Will. Oh, the heartbreak. The humanity. Oh, there's no... And we drop down a Maze of Ith. So the Maze of Ith is going to prevent this Snapcaster Mage from doing a whole lot. And we now actually have a Force of Will active with a Ponder as well. Now all it takes is a Besiege You. Coleman will be actually sitting pretty. Oh my goodness. This game is delightfully absurd. Did he go for port? I don't think he went for port. Likely would have played that. And then started using his Thespian stages to go for it. It looked like a red card to me. Oh, maybe he did. Okay. Maybe he did get a port. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Still not playing it. Huh. This is why you love this matchup? Yeah, this is a really interesting matchup. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, no, no. Why did Justin attack before dropping a Blood Moon? The Maze of Ith would have been just a mountain. That doesn't make any sense. Are we going for the double white? Huh. So, let's see. I think you go for the double white, but why would you attack before playing the Blood Moon? I actually can't... I can't see the reasoning for that one, but that's fine. That's fine. I mean, he's going to win in 9 turns as opposed to 8, so... Let's go ahead and just win the game now. How does that sound? Yeah, sounds good. I think Coleman's just... Ooh, I don't think that Coleman has enough. He's going to fire off this Thespian stage at his Dark Depths just to try, I imagine. But that's just not enough. I suppose it's likely habit. Instead, we're just... Is this a Boil in response? Oh, and he had the Ponder. I knew he had that Ponder too. So he used the Force on the Ponder. The Boil unsuccessful. It was a Boil. Coleman not gonna be getting after it. Oh. Coleman can't win? No, he cannot. No, he cannot. So, that's going to be the end of that game. But, hey, that gives us 10 minutes to find another backup match, right? That is not good. Not good at all. The top comes down. You attack for 2, knock Coleman down to 10, and we are just ticking down the clock. 5 turns to go until... Oh, sorry, make that 3. Make that 3 turns to go until the end of this one. Even up double white. That's interesting. There's no more hate in the deck. He's aware of that too. You're looking at some lands that you could possibly go for. Enchantress. Enchantress is in the field, yes. And you just surgical. Sure, surgical the last boil. Why not? I mean, you're winning anyway. Why not? So go to 11, take the other boil, call it a day. Next turn you knock Coleman to 6, then 4, then 2, then 0. Still firing it off though. He's gonna predict anyway. Justin making sure that he's got this locked up. So we're gonna swing. He's down to 6. He's going to predict the right card, I assume, unless he wants to predict the wrong card. That doesn't seem likely. I think it was a fetch land. Oh, he's actually going to... He names Coleman. He guesses the top of Coleman's deck. Now he's just playing with his food. Now he's just playing with his food. Oh, man. I see that you are hitting the haunt button. Well, I'll let you know that our clue here at Geek Fortress that the card is either in Shadows of Innistrad or Eldritch Moon. Make sure to play along with the Haunt. Only a couple of days left in it, and you can be the winner of. And this is one person getting all 3. Big money, no whammies. You can win an Infernal Tutor, a Force of Will, and a Damnation. Let's find out what he named. What'd you name in the predict?
Mox Diamond.
Cool. Any chance of another feature?
Probably not.
A creature feature?
I guarantee you won't have blood moons.
He named Mox Diamond. Alright, let's head back into that booth and get ready. I think that we've got the next round coming up soon. I'll see you up there. Hello and thanks for joining. My name's TJ and welcome to the Geek Fortress stream. We're streaming out of Geek Fortress Store live in Snohomish, Washington, as we do 4 times a week. 4 times a week? 4 times a week, TJ? Yes, 4 times a week. Every Monday at 6:30 Pacific time, you can join us for some standard action. But every Wednesday and Saturday, Modern rolls into town. Wednesdays at 7, Saturdays at 6. We've got some of that sweet, sweet Modern action. And of course, if you're here tonight, that means that you likely like Legacy. A lot of alliteration happening there, and I know that you are a fan. Join us here every single Friday at 7:30 for more of that Legacy action. Now, that being said, oh no, we're not done tonight. We're in round 1 of 3 tonight. Of 3, we'll see what we can do. But as a quick note, next weekend, I know it's the worst. I'm the worst. We're the worst. But we'll actually be in Dallas, so next weekend we'll be taking it off. However, we will be in Dallas. We'll be back, and actually, we recently got approved for partnership. So hopefully, when we come back, Dungeon Master 38, thanks so much for hitting that follow button. You're a rock star. I look forward to seeing you more in the future. TJ confirmed worst. It is ever so slightly off, and I apologize. Got any dredge? Nice. I could have peeps test standard on the stream for filler. I will say that most Legacy players are not a fan of standard, and they would generally not be a big fan of watching standard when they would rather see some Legacy. But it's going to be great, it's going to be fun, it's going to be awesome, and we recently got approved for partnership. Is that not exciting? Well, I'm excited. Mostly because it just feels like a stepping stone. I am going to eliminate that quote if it keeps getting overused at that point. Oh yeah, Teddy Swain, we're getting a sub button. Man, at a certain point, double using the command just to double use it means that I'll likely end up just taking it away. Do we got some death and taxes tonight? I don't know, actually, if we do have any death and taxes. If we do, I'll do my best. I've got some good spotters out there keeping an eye out for those sweet Legacy decks to put on stream for you all, so we're going to keep playing some sweet Legacy for you all. It's going to be splendid, fantastic, amazing, glorious. Plus, maybe you don't like standard, but as a fun... Thanks, 13th Fox. The evil mailman, it's great to have you. Luckily, I'm not a dog, which means that I welcome you here to the Geek Fortress stream. Let me know where you're watching from, what your favorite artifact is, and what your favorite mail to deliver is. There's 2 commands for it? Oh, I know there's 2 commands for it. But, welcome. It's great having you. Now remember, the 13th of November. Remember the... Anyway, the 5th of November, that's it. Next Monday, be there, because maybe we won't be streaming standard. Is there a chance of that, Wogman? Is there a chance of that, Wogman? Because you're a rock star. Let me know where you're watching from, what your favorite artifact is, and what your favorite, I don't know, what your favorite Ratlin Wog is. But, let me know if you'd be interested. We're actually, for Halloween, I think we're going to play some 4-pack sealed, where it's Shadows over Innistrad, Eldritch Moon, Original Innistrad, and Dark Ascension. 4-pack sealed, make a 30-card deck, and we might just play some 4-pack sealed and stream that. And yes, I will figure out a good way to stream it to where I have an idea of what's in their decks. But that should be interesting next Monday. People have asked. I think we are going to try for the first time streaming limited, and we'll see how it goes. I think it'll go well, but we'll find out. The Evil Mailman, you're from the south of Pittsburgh. Your favorite artifact has to be Ankh of Mishra. Very cool. South Pittsburgh. That means that you are in the realm of Jamie Topples, another member of the Rogues Gallery. She's fantastic, and I'm sure you're fantastic. Plus, I love Pittsburgh. I am a lifelong Steelers fan. I was basically brainwashed by my dad to be a Steelers fan. So, it's great having you. Aragon Shadeslayer, I still do not know if I have Dredge. That has not changed. But if I do, I will see what I can do. And if I don't, I likely won't. But I will still try to convince people that they should be playing it next time. That's what I can do for you. Steelers, blah, blah, blah. They're fun to hate because they win. Well, I mean, they used to win. Now they don't always win. And they didn't always win. Either way, I like them. They're a fun team. It's the Patriots that are fun to hate right now. Hi, Justin.
What up?
Do you know John High Tide? Do we have High Tide? I'm not sure if we have High Tide tonight. I think Donovan's playing a different deck.
He's playing Blue Red.
Yeah. So that matchup went okay.
Yeah.
Has Coleman played lands ever before?
I don't know. He just came in and asked me if he could borrow lands. So.
Okay. It's all good, Aragon. So how do you feel about that matchup in general?
Game 1, it's generally favored for Miracles. So there's really 2 big types of lands decks. There's green red, which is what Coleman's playing, and which is more common. And then there's the green black, or the ones that splash black.
What about the blue? No blue?
No. What?
Isn't there like a teamer one?
No.
Rug? Sorry, this is Legacy. Rug lands? No? Alright then. Please continue.
Just in Time is right, Melvin.
That's Melvin the Muppet.
Melvin the Muppet.
He's actually
He's a
Muppet.
streamer, right?
Oh yeah. He's part of the Rogues Gallery. Yeah. He's another person you can get clues from. I'm not disappointed. Oh wait, am I disappointing to you? I don't know. Anyway.
But yeah, so game 1 against red-green lands is favored for me because they can't be counterbalanced on 2.
Yeah, that taking down Punishing Fire as well as especially Life from the Loam seems
it's
pretty
Life
good.
from the Loam, that's why. And then, which was fortunate for me because game 1 I don't think I should have won, but it was fortunate that you didn't have Loam going.
Never hit a Loam once.
Yeah, so it was very, very fortunate for me. And then game 2, or against the ones that play black, they play Abrupt Decay in the main.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I think that one's...
Do you only have 2 planes in the deck?
Yeah.
Okay, I actually think Coleman could have won game 1. A couple of turns previously, he did not try porting down your fetch lands when it came down. He had the opportunity, and he would take down your... He had 3 ports. You played down the fetch, and then he took down your island instead of the fetch. He could have forced you to do that one and then use the wasteland to take down either what you fetched for or the fetch land. And then it would have made it to where he only had to port 2 lanes, plus would have had enough mana to activate the Dark Depths and get in for the 20. Yeah. But I think that was a fairly obscure line, and especially not if you're new to the deck.
Yeah, that line also doesn't work if I have another fetch land, too, so...
True, but you didn't.
But I didn't. But yes, that's the... I think that was the... that should happen. But then, yeah, against the ones that main deck Abrupt Decay, I've never actually played against them, but it doesn't seem
Like it's as good?
Like it's as good.
Yeah.
And then most of the time I think after board, for both of them, I don't think I'm favored.
I mean...
when I say not...
bring in like
when I say not favored...
2 to 3 surgicals plus Blood Moon.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you're hedging your bet with?
Yeah, which those are good, but he generally lands decks like...
4 Crows and Grip.
Yeah.
That card was not bad.
4 Crows and Grip.
The gamble.
Crows and Grips are great. Abrupt Decays are great.
Mm-hmm.
Boil is great.
It's just great.
Chalice is great.
It's just great.
Yeah.
It's just the greatest.
So, when I say unfavored, it's probably closer to like 60-40.
Yeah.
Or 40-60.
Did you get a chance to watch any of the Eternal Weekend today?
I did. I actually had the day off work, so most of the day I was watching the Eternal Weekend.
Nice. I actually didn't get the chance.
It was super sweet.
I did not see it. I was working today, and then I've been trying to do as much prep as possible because I'm trying to get an apartment tomorrow.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Good deal.
So, and if I get this one has internet, which means that I would actually have internet that isn't here, which means that I might start streaming for that too.
Sweet.
Because, apparently, I just need to take up more of my time with Magic.
Yeah, why not?
It would be a fairly limited time. I'd have to figure out how I even have any spare time to put into that, but I could probably shift some things around. Yes, you can, John Hightide. Apparently he wants to prove to you that there's a rug lands.
The new Perplexing X are sweet. I was actually enjoying watching those quite a lot. So it's Vintage Storm, but it's playing the new Perplexing something, the 4-mana.
That explains why Owen Turtenwald was asking if that or Divination is better in Vintage. I'm going to go ahead and go with it's the paradoxical outcome.
Yeah. No, the matches that I saw, specifically Reed Duke was playing it a lot in Storm, and it looked very impressive.
Alright. Hey, it's good to see you, Captain. There's a possible obstacle for your trip to the GP? Is it that you can't get there fast enough? Huh? No, not even going to react?
No.
Man, you are the worst.
But yes, excuse me, I was wrong. There is a Ruglands. You were correct. This one is not nearly as common as the other ones, though. This is a lot. This one was older. Not a lot of people are playing it anymore.
All right, I'm going to put this question towards you. Will the legacy bubble ever burst?
What do you mean?
The inflated prices. I think no.
Like people stop playing it because
the
prices,
like
or
people realize that they're paying way more than they need to for the cards.
Okay. And so everybody just sells their cards, or
no? It's okay.
People keep buying cards,
okay.
or no? I'm trying to.
I know the bubble is like a financial term, so like so the housing market was a big bubble.
Yeah.
To where everybody was able to just spend a ton of money on. They were buying houses, they were buying things. Like the most iconic situation of a bubble is there used to be a flower that people would trade like most of their property for like a single bit of this flower, right?
And then it becomes.
And is that not absurd? No, it just that's just absurd. Mm-hmm. So eventually, people just eventually the bubble has to burst, and people are just stop doing that. And suddenly, people who have traded their entire value for this single bulb of a flower now have nothing because the flower is now worthless.
Okay.
So legacy cards.
All the cards are just going to become worthless?
Basically.
No, I don't think so.
I also agree that it won't.
Yeah.
Beanie Babies was a great example of one.
It's a lot easier. Never mind. I'm not going to comment. No, I do not think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Format's too sweet.
I do think that Beanie Babies was a good one.
Alright, I'm going to go find another match and play my match.
Alright, have fun. Let me know what my matchup is.
Will do.
Thank you. Everybody say bye, Justin. He'll be gone by the time that it gets in there, but still. So, let's find out what our feature is here at Geek Fortress. Getting ready for round 2. I'm TJ, that was Justin. You're the Fortnites, and we're going to have some amazing players down on the field in this area, because I'll be down there. Now, if you haven't yet, be sure to follow me at RedBaronMTG on the Twitter. Plus, you can follow the Rogues Gallery at MTGOROGUES.
Alright, so here's the skivvy.
Yes. Sure?
We only have 6 people.
Okay.
So...
Just give me one.
Do you care if Joe is on stream?
Go for it. Give me Joe. Give me Joe. Back at Matt? Not really. Not really. But I also don't play MTGO because I don't have internet when I'm not here. Titan Breach or Scape Shift or Titan Breach Shift. I like Titan Shift. I like Titan Shift a lot. Okay, so, but no, back at Matt, I got to playtest a little bit of Pauper today, but in general, no, I don't. I don't really get to play much. The only time that I get to play is at GPs, which is why, from a play perspective, I'm woefully out of like,
You
the
got Joe
muscle.
and Eli?
Alright.
Eli's playing Rogue.
Playing Delver. Where's Joe gonna be? And
Facing the wall. And then...
got it.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so ooh, he's slamming that door, isn't he? So, you wanted it, you got it. We got Enchantress up against Rug Delver. Okay. Ooh. Language Aragon. Okay. Yeah. So, I really don't play much. I play test a decent amount, but yeah, I really, back at Matt, I'll be honest. It doesn't bother me that much. Like, it could, I don't get to play much, and I'll be honest, I have the opportunity to. I could not stream, and I could go grab someone else, put them in this booth, and go down and play in these tournaments occasionally. I like doing this. This is just what I want to do. This is what I want to do. I don't want to stop doing this. This is just what I love doing. Interacting with all of you is what I love doing. Streaming and talking about Magic is what I love doing. Interacting with this community is what I love doing. This is just something that I want to be doing. And I don't, I love playing Magic. It's still one of my absolute favorite things, and I can't say that one is my favorite more than the other. But I'm also aware that, I feel very fortunate that I get to do this with all of you. This is something that I don't think that a whole lot of people get to do. And so I'm not gonna take it for granted and take nights off of it, because I love doing this. And I want to do it as much as I can. So, let's head on down, let's have some fun, and we'll see you there. PDX Panda, you're amazing, and I look forward to seeing you in the future. Let me know where you're watching from, your favorite artifact, and why pandas are so amazing. We'll see you there. Alright, and apparently they've been going without us. When I said you guys are good to go, Joe gave me the guiltiest look I've ever seen in my life. So, let's go ahead and get that ready. To get someone else in the booth for next Friday? Unfortunately cannot for that one. I love Legacy Burn. Love it. Absolutely love it. Thanks, 13th Fox. I actually really appreciate that. Coral Dayton. I would love, honestly, I would love to do something with Star City one day, but that's a long time away, I think. A long time away. Okay. Con Artist. I will say, I get better at Magic for watching it. That is certainly true, right? So, there is that chance. I have a much greater knowledge base of a lot of those things, but the downside is that I have so much worse muscle memory. Every single decision that should be automatic takes longer for me, because I need to sit from the perspective, and there's just so much less muscle memory. So now I know a little bit about a lot of decks as opposed to a lot about a few decks. So that's kind of where the situation sits. To where I agree that in many ways I've become a better player from doing this, and in many ways I've become a worse player for doing this. Okay. So we'll see. But, yeah, it's a long way away, but I don't know. Every now and then I start thinking, what if I ever actually did some commentary at, a larger level? I don't know. Okay. Ninewalker, I agree. I agree completely. It's why I try and play test as much as I can, and why I'm so excited to be in a place that actually has internet, because then I can start streaming MTGO as well as doing this, which gives me actual play doing that. Still in some ways, but I will tell you what, Tevin, over 15 rounds I will be much more mentally exhausted than I would be. And thank you, Con Artist. I have no intention of stopping. I love doing this. I love it. I really, really do. So, we are going to pay the 2 to make this Tarmogoyf attack. It's going to hit Joe for 3, knock him down to 13. We do have one Enchantress, the Argothian Enchantress. That is a Shroud creature that whenever he plays an enchantment, he can draw. Yeah. Okay. Have I ever met LSV? I've talked to him a couple of times, but never like a close conversation. So, we're now paying for the Elephant Grass. Enchantress can also use Sarah Sanctum to cast Emrakul. It's true. He does run an Emrakul. He runs one Emrakul. He has also got a sigilled... what is it? Sigil of the Empty Throne. He's got a Sigil of the Empty Throne as another possible win condition. And he actually has a Helm of Obedience because he runs mainboard Rest in Peace as just a piece of his lock. So those are the 3 win conditions that Joe is running just naturally in this deck. He does have he's got the Sarah Sanctum, but very few enchantments. I think Joe kept a pretty risky and honestly not great hand. Doesn't pay for the Elephant Grass, but he's got a plan for this turn. He needs to draw some cards. He needs to get more Enchantress effects out. Looks like we are going to put a Wild Growth onto one of these lands, which allows it tap for more mana. Just seems like a cool dude. I mean, I'm under the impression that he is. He's never done anything to make me not believe that. In like the couple exchanges that I've had with him, he's been extremely kind and courteous and friendly. Like, you know, when people walk up to you and you're like having a conversation with your friends and stuff, like obviously I don't want to take much of his time, but I still am taking some of his time, and he's been wonderfully kind at any time that does happen. So we're going to use that Wild Growth force to put a Wild Growth onto this other forest. Now we'll see if he ends up naming a different color. It looks like he is going to go with green, I imagine, at least for the first one. So we're going to have another 2 mana available, plus we've got this Sarah Sanctum, which is currently able to tap for 2. I think Joe's looking to drop down another one. He could go for... He needs more Enchantress effects is the problem. He does have the Solitary Confinement, and his game plan right now is survive until he can land a Solitary Confinement. Utopia Sprawl is going to come down using the other green mana that he had available. On that one, draws a card. Now this one taps for 3 mana plus the Sarah Sanctum, 6 mana available. If he uses this to drop down an Enchantress effect as well, that's going to be pretty excellent. It looks like that one, I imagine, is for green. Looks like it. It is main board Rest in Peace. Or main deck. I think that they're functionally similar. I've never really concerned myself with them being that different. Edit Enchantress's Presence coming down. So that is another Enchantress effect plus an enchantment itself. Going to draw a card for that one. 2 Enchantress. He may drop down... Actually, there's a decent chance. I don't know Joe's hand, but if he has got like 3 enchantments in hand, we might see him drop down this Solitary Confinement. Oh, my bad. Hold on. That's my bad. Thank you, Bledsoe. And the Solitary Confinement comes down. Thank you very much. So, at the beginning of your upkeep, you sacrifice it unless you discard a card from your hand. So he's going to have to discard a card at each upkeep. However, you also skip your draw steps, so you're not drawing cards naturally. You can't be the target of spells or abilities, and you prevent all damage that would be dealt to you. Now, Joe has got these 2 Shroud things. Looks like we're going to daze that one, forcing him to pay the extra. We are going to pay the one that's required. Now, Joe, able to discard a card, and because he has these 2 Enchantress effects, his banking on the idea that next turn he can cast an enchantment, draw 2. That means that it's much easier for him to discard. So as long as Joe continues to draw gas with these 2 Enchantress effects, then he should be able to. Doro, it's great to see you. Hello to... I'm gonna take a quick moment. This isn't to lessen the focus on other people, but I so often thank our players, and I so often thank our viewers, and I so often thank my co-hosts. But I need to take a quick moment and just say this. Look, you don't have to if you don't want to, I guess, but it would be amazing if all of you just took a moment. Everyone in the chat right now with a sword next to their name are just incredible. They help out an enormous amount. They help keep the chat fun. They talk with everybody. They interact exceedingly well. They help me out with the commands. They help me with coordinating a bunch of things. They're always there to answer questions when I don't have the opportunity. They have been an incredibly just kind and useful group, and I can't say how much I appreciate them all being in the chat so consistently. So thank you to all the mods. I know that it's fun to hate on the mods. It is, but honestly, I think that we've got an incredible group in here. So, yeah, it's... I think that we've got a really good job that helps make the chat absolutely have a lot of its own free will and self-volition, but still it just helps kind of guide things toward the realm of positivity and making sure that we're as good of a community as we could be. Shade of Hades, that's okay, you're getting there. You're getting there. So, it's fun to hate on the mods, but I think that ours are pretty amazing. Is now broadcasting in SAP? Thanks, Doro. Plus, they give me a harder time than anyone. So we dropped out an Enchantress's presence. That is an incredibly good tool here. Honestly, actually, I use my mods a lot for helping me decide other mods in general. Like, they're pretty fantastic people. So, generally, I ask them to also just help me identify both the need for new mods and also just the new mods. This is a professional stream. We try, but I don't know, you gotta allow for some of the oddness, right? Good try, Melvin. Doing the old donkey shout. Okay. So, Joe has got... Is that a carpet of flowers? Yes, it is. I love carpet of flowers. Aragon, thank you so much. I honestly think that you're right. Sheikh Zula, not yet. I'm actually gonna go tomorrow and basically try and compete for it. We'll see. Carpet of Flowers is a really fun one. I once actually used Carpet of Flowers. This is really awful. I don't know why I should actually tell people this. But... yeah. So Eli's going to pick it up. Not going to be winning this one. However, Carpet of Flowers, I once used that one for Valentine's Day. For the girlfriend at the time, I put down a single copy of Carpet of Flowers on the ground so that when they arrived, there was a carpet of flowers. Oh, man, that's awful. That was terrible. It was also pretty great. Do I know who True is? Yes. Yes, it is. But, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks, Backett Matt. It was a lot of fun. She laughed. That's all I needed out of it. It's all about getting a laugh. So Joe's going to take the win here. That was a great one. Unfortunately, I didn't do a whole lot else. I think I did a little bit more, like I did the flowers and things like that. But, let's see here. During your main phase, you may add up to X mana of one color to your mana pool, where X is the number of islands target opponent controls. So it generally does that because for Legacy is blue dot format. It doesn't hurt to run them because you can. Datico? No, I did do more than Carpet of Flowers. Like, there was a little bit more, but that was really the... I put a lot of feature onto that one. I was pretty excited about that. Yes, he does have Rough and Tumble on the board. But yeah, I think there was... oh, I should have put a Lotus in the bouquet! I should have. That would have been way better. But hey, you know what? If any of you have Carpet of Flowers and you're not using it, come next February 14th. Now you've got a use. Man, that was back when the card was cheap, too. It became unreasonably expensive. Still worth it. Still worth it. Let's take a look at it. At the beginning of each of your main phases, actually. It is each of your main phases, Carpet of Flowers. So that becomes pretty good. Even one of them, it ends up being 2 extra mana per turn. That's not bad at all. So, alright, so we're going to be jumping into Game 2. Eli going to have to really proactively use some of those Force of Wills. No, you get it for both. It is for each of your main phases, actually. Is it really? Oh, never mind. I didn't keep reading the card. My bad. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong. I'm the wrongest. I only read at the beginning of each of your main phases. I got that far. And then I didn't read, if you haven't added mana to your mana pool with this ability this turn, you may add blah 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 blah. That's on me. You can add less than X mana if you want, even 0. I love that in its own rulings, it's allowing people that they can just add no mana if that's what they want to do. That's pretty great. Okay. So, as a judge, it took 20 minutes to explain this to a new player, old templates. Yeah, you just bring up the gather rule. So what should you play at Star City, Baltimore? Lion's Eye Dredge, Force of Will Dredge, or Tess? Why not all three? Why not all three? So, Eli's got a Winter Orb coming in. That's not going to be awful. I still like it. Thank you. My confidence is... I don't know. I mean... So? You always take more mana. Whenever the question is, should you have more... Whenever the question... You know what? I'm trying to quote Goblin Electromancer and I'm just not going to. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I can't word today, and that's just the way that it's going to be. A Wild Growth coming down for Joe onto this basic forest after he fetches for the forest, going for those basics and putting it on basics because Eli has got access to one card in particular, that being Wasteland. While you're at it, check out that command. You can follow that to a Reddit post which will be telling you that there are 6 clues across 9 streams in the Rogues Gallery. Absolutely, you should check it out because if you do it in the next couple of days before the 1st of next month, through the end of the next month, you get to just toss your name into the hat, so to speak, to win an Infernal Tutor, a Force of Will, and a Damnation. That's pretty good. I do remember that Mana Burn was a thing. Still, you always go for more power. So, Eli with a couple of non-basics has a Delver which is not transformed yet, knocking Joe down to 18. Still just has the singular land. I do believe I see an Utopia Sprawl in Joe's hand. He might drop down. He might put in a basic, possibly use that basic to put another one onto this and then activate 3 mana, but really he can just float a mana here, put it onto this other one, and it helps just spread it out a little bit in case there is some unusual land hate. Plus it allows him to spread out his use of his mana over multiple phases or whatever he needs to do. Lathier, that's awesome. Ad Nauseam is a sweet deck. I look forward to seeing you there. Miyama Juan Blanco. You haven't been here in ages. We've been doing this for months. We just got approved to be partners. We're gonna have like a sub button maybe next week. Miyama Juan Blanco, it's been a while. It's been months. I missed you. Welcome back. So we've got a Spell Pierce coming down. And we are going to pay for it. So it does come down. Joe uses it. So he targets the forest with the Utopia Sprawl. It gets Spell Pierce, so he uses the floating mana and taps the land that it was targeting to pay for it. Then, at Eli's upkeep, we're going to reveal a Spell Pierce to transform it into an Insectile Aberration. Okay. Alright, Miyama Juan Blanco, you get a pass. Strifo? That's probably true. It's a professional stream? I'm not sure that. Whew. Hey, Vasiloto, thank you so much for joining. Good to see ya. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. We're also in the fast lane. From LA to Tokyo. So an Insectile Aberration coming down, and this Winter Orb is looking pretty okay. I think Chase is correct. I think some of these lands are going to start getting stacked. Winter Orb's interesting. Winter Orb's an interesting card. It also got reprinted with some pretty sweet art. So we're going to untap one of those. Luckily, we still have access to 2 mana, but he's going to have to start really lining up where he puts those effects, if he has them. Plus Surviving Hurricanes. Ooh, sorry to hear that. I hope you're doing a what? But I have a fast card. Luckily. Luckily, I do. Alright, so we're going to drop in a fetch land here. We have got... Looks like we're going to float 2 mana. With a white there, we're going to use the white mana, I think, to cast down a Sense's Divining Top, which is southern part of the U.S. Surprise, surprise. Eli's got a bolt available. Might just fire this one off to apply a little bit more pressure. Knock him down to 12 so you can knock him down to 9 the next turn. We're actually going to use a Spell Pierce on this. We're going to crack a fetch, use the remaining floating mana to take that one down. So, Eli, I actually kind of like this because he's aware that Joe can pay it. He's really just going for a game plan in which Joe has to keep expending his resources and making it to where, next turn he doesn't have access to 3 mana. He doesn't have access to go for a lot of these things. I think Eli is lining up this game really nicely, and just by forcing Joe to keep tapping lands, he keeps stopping him from what he actually wants to do. Huh. Yes, back at Matt, it used to be, what was the original term for them? A static? Is that what it was? There used to be 3 types of artifacts, and one of them used to be that if it was, let me find out what it was. Continuous, that's what it was. It was a continuous artifact, which meant that if it was tapped, it was no longer active. Scarlet's Bud, that's pretty nice. It was a continuous artifact. There was like continuous, static, and mono, I think what the 3 were. And it was like mono artifacts entered the battlefield. No, did they enter the battlefield tapped? Or something like that? Yeah. I think it's like mono artifacts entered the battlefield tapped. There was Enchant World, which is actually still functionally different than enchantments. Because there can only be 1 Enchant World on the battlefield at a time. Oh, was it poly? There was mono, there was poly, and continuous. Yeah, there was a lot of... and then continuous. And then... either way, there was odd things. There was odd things. And Elephant Grass comes down for Joe. Now, Eli is actually... he only gets to untap 1 land. He is going to be able to pay to attack once, but not as much as he thought. Mono meant you had to tap it to get its effect. That's what it was. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So mono meant that you had to tap it. Which is why you had Navinral's Disc, which would enter tapped, but just had pay 1 to go for it, because the original text didn't actually say that you had to tap it. So we've got a Nimble Mongoose. The goose is not loose yet. We also do have a Wasteland joining the battlefield. We're going to pay 2 to attack with one of these creatures by the look of it. And that does mean that he's able to attack next turn as well by only untapping 1 of those. Then, that's going to put him to 8. The next attack is going to put him to 5. And then Eli might be able to just string together his Lightning Bolt that he has in hand to actually close out a win if Joe maybe does some fetching, anything like that. Looks like we do have possibly another Utopia Sprawl, but Joe is in a little bit of trouble, especially because of this cumulative upkeep is just going to devastate what he's actually trying to do. Huh. Well, congratulations to everybody who did well there. Hello to everybody who is just joining. My name's TJ. If you haven't yet, be sure to hit that follow button for the Geek Fortress stream. And hopefully we do a pretty good job. We do this 4 times a week. I do this basically 4 times a week. I think I've missed probably less than 15 in the last year, and we're basically now at a year. We haven't celebrated it yet. Decade Zerg, it's great to see you, but we've been streaming for about a year, and I think in total I've missed maybe 15 streams. Is that maybe? And so I'm here about 4 times a week. And yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to do. I hope to see you all more in the future. Hey, the real breakdown. Let's get some woos. Everybody, can we get some fun celebratory woos? We're not officially celebrating 1 year yet. We've got some ideas on how to do it. So we're going to delay the actual 1 year so that we can celebrate it properly. And make sure we can get that done. But I've got a lot of things happening in my life right now, and I want to make sure that I can get all of those things under control before I go for the full celebratory and go all in on it. I've got a lot of moving parts in my life right now, and I want to make sure that they all kind of get at least a little bit designated. Me amo Juan Blanco, I appreciate your enthusiasm, and thanks to everybody else. Tebin, it hasn't been way too long. I've been here since at least November-ish. An Enchantress of Presence coming down, but Joe is fully tapped out. He's only going to have 2 mana available next turn, and he's going to have to pay for that Elephant Grass. If he doesn't have a land in hand, which I don't think that he does, he's going to be in some trouble. Good try. I did miss you, Mayamo and Blanco. That's a fact. We've got another lane coming down, which means that Eli's going to be able to pay to attack. Oh, no, that's just the untap, sorry. A Wasteland comes down. He can pay for the attack and pay for the bolt. He can put Joe down to 4, knock Joe down to 1, maybe just try and trap Joe into a fetch. He's even got access to, you know, if he goes for this one, he can even start baiting it out to where he can use these Wastelands on the fetch lands, trying to force Joe into activating them earlier than he would want to, or just trying to go for a value out of it. But I think Joe is going to be aware, if he's at 4, not to go to 3, if he can help it at all. The 2 is getting paid, we're going to swing in, and Joe might almost be in a position of not paying for it, with the intent of, I have got to... But even Solitary Confinement becomes so bad, because he's got 1 card in hand. I think Joe just loses this game. I think we've got a game 3 coming in. I just don't think that there's a whole lot of options here. Thanks everybody who is joining. You're all pretty amazing. I like working with you all a lot. It's pretty great. Pretty great. Pretty great. So I think, is that a backup Elephant Grass? Did we draw the backup there? We've got the extra... We've got a little bit of extra floating mana. I think we're hoping to hit like a Wild Growth, but unfortunately we can't cast it because that's the one that we have the white mana on. And I think that's just so you can possibly cast some other tools. Ooh. Is that a Carpet of Flowers? Joe could use the Carpet of Flowers next turn. That's not bad. Next turn he pays the 1. Oh, but he has to... Oh, man. He might have to just give it up. That is rough for Joe. That Carpet of Flowers would be nice, but he can't both cast that and pay for the Elephant Grass. What do you do if you are... But of course, Eli can just attack in for 3 this turn, and then he's got Bolt forever. Like, if Joe casts a Solitary Confinement, fine. He's got 1 Enchantress effect and 2 cards in hand. It's unlikely to be very effective. He's got enough lands that eventually he'll fizzle out. Especially when he can only cast 1 spell per turn underneath this Winter Orb. So, if I'm Eli, I just go for the attack for 3, knock him down to 1. It also means that it restricts Joe's mana a little bit, to where even if he draws the land to be able to both maybe pay for the Elephant Grass and get this Carpet of Flowers, the problem is that you're still in a situation in which he can't actually fetch, so a good part of his land base is now dead. Or at least ineffective. So Joe's got to decide here. The problem is that I think he has to pay for the Elephant Grass and hope to like hit a land. But he's also dead if he doesn't, though Eli didn't attack, which is odd to me. I'm a little bit surprised by that. And look at that, Dylan hanging out in the chat. I'll tell you what, everybody, tell me where you're watching from. We haven't played this game in a long time. Everybody toss it in. Hit that, just toss in where you're watching from. I won't be able to read them all out, but it's always fun for me to see. Thanks to the 187 people who are making this stream what it is. From Florida. From Florida. Hawaii, Mexico, Montreal, Connecticut, Minnesota, Kansas, Louisiana. Whew. Man. Alright, and it's time to lock the door. Watching from Hong Kong. Thank you so much, The Gaming Dad. It's great having you. Great having you. So the Carpet of Flowers does come down. Able to use that, and Joe is able to produce a little bit of mana. So I think at this point he's just going to try and dedicate some of these lands to paying for the Elephant Grass until he can hit something. Gnobly907, thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's great having you. You are a rock star, and I look forward to seeing you more in the future. Let me know where you're watching from, what your favorite artifact is, and what your favorite legacy deck is. Look at all those people. Thank you, everybody. Thanks so much for watching, for joining, for tossing that in. Carpet of Flowers kind of beats Winter Orb. Yes. He just needs to actually break free of the attacks, because Eli is still winning. He's still got a Lightning Bolt in hand and the ability to attack with these creatures. Like Eli doesn't lose right now. What are the best colors for Nick Fit? Hey, Strifo, jump in. Any Manaless Dredge, JMB? I couldn't tell you. So, a Rest in Peace coming down. That's going to draw him another card. He's just trying to dig as deep as he can right now. It's lit. I think, so yeah. Obzon strikes me as some of the best colors for Nick Fit. But yeah, I guess blue could give you like... Maybe you go 4-color. 4-color Nick Fit? I bet you go 4-color and you add blue. And reveals the bolt we're going to see a Game 3. So Carbon of the Flowers, while it does beat the Winter Orb, I think Joe needed to see it. Let's go ahead and let's be a little bit conservative and say a billion turns ago. That would have been helpful, right? You're living 20 minutes from Quebec City. Well, thank you to everybody who is just watching. Looks like it just went up a little bit. You are all incredible. You're joining us in the middle of Rug Delver versus Enchantress, getting ready for a Game 3 here in Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington. Okay, so let's see what else we can see. That's conservative? Absolutely, it's conservative. So 20-20 as we head into Game 3, because that's what the starting life totals are. While you're at it, be sure to follow myself at Red Baron MTG and find out when we're streaming more in the future. Also at MTGO Rogues to find the Rogues Gallery and do more cool things and see more fun streamers in the future. Also type !hunt to join in that hunt where you can in the treasure hunt, where if you know that for our clues the card is in Shadows over Innistrad or Eldritch Moon, watch some of the other Rogues Gallery. You've only got a couple of days left and you get entered into win Infernal Tutor, Damnation, and Force of Will. That's pretty good. Other than green for Explorer and black for Cabal Therapy, you think Nick Fit is whatever you want it to be? Scarlet Spud, I think you're right. I like Baleful Strix a lot, though. That card's pretty good. Mi Amo and Blanco, get it done. You've only got a couple of days, but it's totally worth it. Also, if you want to help out and support the store, go to www.geekfortressgames.com and see if there's some cards that you need there. You can follow at MTGO Rogues to join us more in the future, and all kinds of fun things can happen. There's just a lot of good to be happen. Haunt. It is Haunt. Okay. Oh, man. Is Nick Fit like a better version of Miracles? Not really. They're kind of completely different decks. It's basically... It's use Veteran Explorer and Cabal Therapy to get more mana than your opponent, and then play whatever standard staples from the last 10 years that you want. Okay. How many people have figured out the card? Last I checked, it was like 8 or 9. Like, there's not a ton. I think 8 was the last count that I got. So, Gibbous M, I actually disagree. I think the new 4-color ones... I think that the Nephilim, like 2 of them were interesting, and then 3 of them were just boring. Like, most of them were boring. For EDH, at least. Okay. So, Joe has got, looks like he's got double green mana available right now. We'll see if he ends up stacking, playing around the, okay, and, please keep it family-friendly and positive. Oh, there's 12? Okay. So there's 12 right now. So that means that there were 3 in the last couple of days. So people do it jumping in at the end. But please keep it friendly and positive. That's where we like to keep this chat. So Spell Pierce is going to take this one down as he tries to put on there. And it looks like we're actually okay with that. So let's see what we end up doing. Using a Force of Will, pitching that one. And we are going to put down Miri's Guile. Miri's Guile is sweet. It's kind of like a, it's a build your own top, kind of. Mi Amo and Blanco, it's worth it. They're 3 pretty good cards. Back at Matt, I actually do too, but I get a lot of hate for saying that. Gibbous M, honestly, that's kind of what I like. I like commanders that aren't, like, thrilling, but give you something to build around. That's what I like. I think So Tebin, actually all 3 of the cards are going to the same person. One person wins big. But still, that means that you have a 1 in 12 chance of how many clues have been spoiled? There are 6 clues across 9 streamers. So I only have the 1 clue that I give out. Okay. But yeah, it's totally worth it. Thank you so much for hitting that one. Join in with it. Follow at MTGO Rogues. They'll let you know when the other people are streaming. If you follow me, I tend to retweet a lot of that stuff or try and let you know when they're streaming as well. Okay. Is there any Commander 16 cards that are legacy playable? I know Zach Elsick spotted that the new Ash, the new whatever Ashland that has a cycle for the Waste and Ash or whatever it is, allows you to cycle it for a basic land for colorless mana. Yes, our clue is that the card is either in Shadows over Innistrad or Eldritch Moon. But that one allows you to get underneath a Blood Moon or a Chalice to go find the basic lands that you need. It's something that Zach Elsick mentioned, which I kind of like. So Nargothian Enchantress is coming down. So that is going to start drawing some of those cards. Yeah, there are some cool cards. I think that land is one that I'm a little bit interested in. That's one that I'd like to see reprinted in Modern next time that they make a cycle into a set. Magus the Will looks interesting. I'll totally give it that. Shadows or Eldritch Moon? Yes, it is in Shadows or Eldritch Moon. I'll end up hosting over to another person at the end of this stream, but also just check it out. You got this weekend, you can definitely get in there and just ask him. Magus the Will is interesting. I'm not convinced it'll get banned, but I'm also not convinced it won't. It's certainly a good effect. We've learned that. And a Force Will is going to take down that Carpet of Flowers. Pretty good card. Pretty good card. So Eli, with all the fires off 2 of these Force Wills, doing a great job of inhibiting what Joe was trying to do. He's still got one of these Enchantress effects, which is going to allow him to start drawing these cards. The Mirror's God allows him to draw into what he needs. As a heads up, Joe, who's on the left side of the screen, actually has a, by most judges, legal version of 4 Horsemen that he built. Basically, it's 4 Horsemen that runs 4 copies of Quicken, which allows it to go off at instant speed, which means it only needs to go through the graveyard once. Because then, if you hit the Emrakul, you just, with the trigger on the stack, fire it around, and then you end up firing off the Dread Return with the Emrakul on the stack, which allows it to be a little bit more playable. Okay. 6 mana in 1 turn is easy for Storm to do. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I don't think that it taps to sacrifice itself, does it? I don't know. But Joe has got 2 of these Wild Growth playing around the Winter Orb a bit more by stacking these ones up. So he'll be able to manipulate that much better. He's got a Mirror's God to fix a lot of his draws. It doesn't make it great. Yeah, I think it does have to tap. Okay, it does tap. Got it. Got it. And, ooh, a Worship coming down. Can Eli beat that? I don't think so. I actually don't think that Eli can beat that. Oh, wrong card there. So Worship out. Leyline of Anticipation would work. I suppose you're right. So, we're going to ponder here. Now, does Eli have any way to force Joe into a position of just losing 1 life? Does he? I don't think so. Is Vapor Snag, but you can't target any of his creatures because they're all shrouded. Interesting. I don't know there. I don't know. I just don't know. Eli's got a Wasteland, but I don't think that Eli can actually win this match. And this is just the start of what Joe's getting going. He's only at 19, which means that he's got a lot of room to manipulate. If he's able to get another one of these Enchantress effects... Hi, Dylan. If he's able to get another one of these Enchantress effects down, then he'll be able to line that one up. Even a Solitary Confinement just ends up taking it down completely. I don't think that Eli has any Wrath effects, and if he did, I fully expect that they would have come out for this matchup.
This has got to be a tough one. Worship?
Yeah, with a
Oof.
worship and a shrouded creature.
And a shrouded creature, they got nothing. That is a tough game.
I'm not sure. Maybe Eli has got a back to nature in the board.
Whose deck is that? I think he's borrowing Josh's deck.
I would expect so. Josh has been playing looked over.
Yeah, I think he's borrowing.
I don't
Josh's.
think that he has back to
I
nature.
don't think he
in the
does
board.
either. No, I don't think so. That's not. I don't think that's one that Rug Delver usually plays.
Maybe he. I mean, he's in green. There's a chance that because Joe plays here, that he might be running it.
Yeah, you always have that. Those
Or at
weird
least
sideboards when
something
it
like a
comes to
Corrosion
the meta.
Grip.
Yeah,
Maybe?
Corrosion. Actually, I'm pretty sure. I think he does play Corrosion Grip.
So Corrosion Grip could take down the worship.
I only know that because I think I sold him some. Red cards that beat Blood Moon. Man, more red cards.
Koth.
Yeah. Oh. Oh.
I actually did see that. There was a deck that was running
just
red.
Fire down a Koth and watch him just go.
They ran no red, but whenever they'd bring it in against Blood Moon decks so that
Yeah,
they
that
could
was,
cast it.
What was that? That was
No, that was Tibble. That was
oh, that's right.
that was different. That was that Troy? I think that was Troy. Who ran the Tibble. But no, I've seen some people running a Koth in non-red decks, just so that when they get hit by Blood Moon,
why not?
if they're fully expecting it, then they can actually just go for the win that way of plussing it up and then using their non-basics to kill them.
What else we got? Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure this one's Joe. Joe looks like he's about ready to just go nuts here any moment. So
Back at Matt, that's Nature's claim. Back to Nature is green and a colorless, one in green, to destroy all enchantments.
yeah, so it doesn't actually target, which is pretty helpful.
It is quite helpful. So Sarah's Sanctum is out. We're going to produce a lot of mana here.
Yeah.
Solitary Confinement coming out. It just
yeah.
if Eli doesn't have it,
He's
he loses.
drawn so many cards.
Like only Back to Nature can dig him slightly out of this situation.
And I don't think
And like Joe might even run like Replenish and still have it. Buying a Koth.
Oh, there's Troy right there.
Yeah.
Hello, Troy.
Yeah. Oh man, Koth is the sweetest tech. Riorion, it's going well. We're watching Joe just crush with Enchantress at the moment.
Enchantress has gotten to the point to where it's ridiculous.
It's done. Now he's just
Rest
looking
in
for the
peace.
combo. Rest in
Yeah.
Peace means that he can either draw
Helm.
Helm of Obedience. He's
just
got
drew a
enough
ton of
mana
cards. Oh
to
my
next
gosh.
turn go for an Emrakul.
Yeah.
Or a Sigil of the Empty Throne.
It's one of the very few decks that just hard cast an Emrakul with a single land. They're very cool. I think he's passing because he looks like he's in the discard mode.
Yeah, I mean, he ran out of mana for the turn, but next turn just looks insane for him.
Yeah.
Alright.
And he drew a Winter Orb. Oh, a Winter Orb. That is definitely not going to help you because he can only untap one land. Well, guess what that land's going to be? I believe the one that produces like 15 by now.
And like, if he only if he only untaps that one, that's really screaming that he doesn't. Because Sigil of the
He's got
Empty
the
Throne,
two-
white
he's got
card,
the two Wastelands.
Helm of
Why didn't
Obedience,
he just
colorless,
Wasteland him?
to hit this, absolutely he should have hit the Sarah Sanctum.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But then he would have just untapped the Forest.
He's about ready to be very upset right now. That's true. Either way, he would have.
Like, he would have untapped the Forest. He wouldn't have had the mana this turn because he doesn't have the Carpet of Flowers. But if Joe has a land in hand, which he very likely does after drawing that many cards,
Yeah.
then he may have actually gotten into a situation of just dropping down a land and going for it.
I think he's explained to him right now on why Rest in Peace and Helm of Obedience is a very fun little combo. That's one that I thought about. You know, playing Reanimator a bunch is having a Helm of Obedience in the sideboard, so when I know that they're going to jam out a Rest in Peace, and you jam down a Helm of Obedience and you get him with it, that would feel so good.
That is
pretty
good.
Oh, looks like Destructive Revelry is what he brought in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's gonna.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. So, I think Joe takes down that one. Do you think we might have another feature match available? What are your thoughts?
I think that it's a possibility.
Would you be willing to take a little look
I have
out
a
there?
strong sense of maybe.
All right. Let's find out. Let's see what we can do. Hello and thank you for joining. My name's TJ. We're streaming out of Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington, having ourselves a brilliant time doing cool things with cool people, and you are all amazing. Now, if you haven't yet, be sure to hit that follow button and join us more in the future. In the meantime, we're getting ready to maybe get another backup match. Otherwise, we're going to try and have the next round up as soon as possible and do some cool things. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. We just recently did get approved for partnerships. We're going to try and get that online. It's going to be a great time there. And hopefully next week we can have that online. As a quick reminder, unfortunately, and I don't like saying this, but unfortunately I gotta, next weekend, Friday and Saturday, we will not be able to stream. I'll be in Dallas doing GP Dallas. And so next Friday and Saturday, no stream, but we'll be back online after that. Ooh, and Gibbous M is our featured viewer of the day. Gibbous, thank you so much for being that featured viewer. You are a rock star, and thank you so much for being such an active part. I recently learned how to say your name correctly, which allows me to thank you as best as I can. It's always good seeing you. I can't wait to see you more in the future. And you were in a different tab. I get it. I get it. I get it. Still, going to be more Legacy action, and we do this 4 times a week. Legacy every single Friday. On Mondays, we do Standard, though next Monday, we might actually stream Limited for the first time ever here at Geek Fortress. We might do some 4-pack sealed with 30-card decks with, because it's Halloween, Innistrad, Dark Ascension, Shadows over Innistrad, and Eldritch Moon. Absolutely. Longtime viewer and Geek Fortress patron. Oh yeah, Gibbous M has been around a long time. It's always exciting. It's always exciting. Alright, so let's see what we can do. I think Dylan's taking a look to find out what he can find out. Otherwise, we'll get some more matches up soon. Should be good. Time walking, it's good to see ya. You're a rock star. And thanks everybody. We should have some more magic up for you. In the meantime, if you have any questions, comments, and feedback, always welcome. We do try and keep it, I don't know, somewhat on topic, but always family friendly here at Geek Fortress. Trying to build a, I don't know, trying to help foster a community which is on the more positive side. Was there any coverage for the Eternal Weekend? Yes, there was. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you so much. That's really kind of you. And thank you for the congratulations. Oh, that is so kind of you. Thank you. Your support from the very beginning was really helpful. So thank you. I remember early on back when we first started the stream, you were actually pretty active in like giving me a lot of feedback on ways that I could improve, and ways that we can improve our coverage, and ways that we could change things to just do a better job. So thanks for being a part of that. It's been awesome having you along for the ride. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Aaron. It's good to see you as well. Hopefully we'll be able to see you next Friday. Though unfortunately, I guess I won't. I'll be in Dallas. But still, we'll do cool things and have some fun. But yeah, thank you so much for that $20 donation. That's big. And we've got some. Do we have a sub button? We're actually working on it. We got approved for it. I've just got to sign some digital signature, do a little bit of filling out some like tax paperwork, and then get it processed. So that's what we'll end up doing. So I'm thinking maybe next week we'll be able to. I think so. Tiny Leaders was played a little bit. It started off in Canada, if I remember right. I remember finding it right when it first started. We got approved for a partnership, Peter. We're gonna have a sub button. And I'm playing Burn. I'm playing Burn or Scred most likely, or I'll make a last minute call. We'll see. How can anyone see you next Friday? Yeah, that's true. Hey Jeff, it's good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. We've got some Legacy happening tonight. And we've got some fun happening here. Thanks so much for joining when I'm not being Tommy Moonray, which is nice. We should have the next matchup soon. But if any of you ever want to see some more Paper Magic, also Jeff, a big proponent of the Paper Magic, so always worth checking out that one. Thanks for stopping by. It's good to see you, Jeff. You're still playing Mono Red, right? You're basically Mono Red, free wins with Blood Moon plus Sneak and Show, or Sneak Attack. Because that deck is sweet. I like that one a lot. Okay. Ooh, look at Castro dropping in the Hoogland emote. I dig it. I'm actually pretty excited for this partnership. We'll see what happens with it. We'll see what happens with it. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm hopeful. We'll see. I mean, like, never play fair in this format. That's pretty fine. What version of Burn am I going to go with? Right now I've been testing Boros. I might just go with that one, but we'll see. I honestly don't know. I don't know. I just don't know what will end up going. Okay, so let's see what we can do. In the future. Let's see what we can do in the future. Strifo and Dingo, thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's great having you, and you are a rock star. Let me know where you're watching from, what your favorite artifact is, and let me know what your favorite, let's say, animal is. Let's do that one. Yes, favorite animal. I like that one. Ooh, are you playing Baltimore next weekend? That's awesome. Very cool. I will be in Dallas for that one, but I hope you do well. Are you going to be playing the Mono Red? What did I sub in for the Atarka's command? So I put in Skullcracks. Basically, I took out 4 Atarka's command, put in 4 Skullcracks, and then I took out the Skullcracks from the sideboard, and the Destructive Reveries replaced them with 1. And then I went up to 20 lands, took out a Searing Blaze, moved the 4th Searing Blaze to the sideboard, and then am running 3 Smash to Smithereens and 2 Wear Tear. Hi Coleman, do you have another match for me?
I was gonna ask what you guys want for the last one.
What you got? Who's the best performing?
Justin's 2-0.
And his
only
opponent?
2-0.
Hold on.
Who's his opponent?
Donovan, who's playing Blue
That sounds
Belt.
perfect. Can we do that?
Sure.
You know where you want to watch Lands and Enchantress.
I don't.
Get out.
The old Lands Enchantress matchup
I
might still be going by tomorrow.
I do not.
I'm gonna have Donovan sit on the wall.
Cool, thank you. Alright, so we're going to have Miracles up against Blue-Red Delver. So, we're going to have Justin on the left side of the screen. He's going to be on Delver, going up against Donovan, someone who's normally playing some odd prison decks, some of those unusual stuff, but he has instead showed up with Blue-Red Delver. It is running, I believe, some Bedlam Revelers and some other cool stuff in the board. Do you play a deck that you know a lot better, or the deck that is better positioned? Probably the deck that you... I mean, that's basically what my choice for Dallas is right now, actually. Heroes and Villains hype. Does anyone else miss Lands players having to grind out games with Creeping Tar Pits? Unfortunately, I wasn't around during that time, but that does sound beautiful. I'm guessing that's pre-Thespian stage. Either that or they could grind it out with Punishing Fire, Jeff. That classic 1 damage per turn. Oh, man. That sounds just brilliant. Just brilliant. Pros and cons, Boros over Nyburn. The mana is excessively better. Just, you get to run Inspiring Vantage, you get more helixes, and you take less damage. It means that you're better in an aggro-centric meta. However, you end up losing a Tarka's Command, which is an incredibly powerful spell, and more importantly, like, the big thing is that you're basically trading Destructive Reverie, which is an incredibly powerful spell, and a Tarka's Command for, in fact, a much more painless mana base. When you're running Boros, it's not uncommon for me to be at 3 lands and close to winning, and still at 18 or 19 mana. Hey, you know what? If you see me in Dallas, come say hi. I would love to. I would love to talk. It's always awesome. Don't feel bad about interrupting me unless it's like in an actual round match. But if you just see me like talking with some people and you want to come up and say hi, please do. Meeting people is one of my favorite things to... It's one of my favorite experiences that I've ever had in like the Magic community. Is just getting the chance to interact and meet with people. Okay. Or life. Yeah, you all know what I mean. You all know what I mean. Alright, let's head on down. Have some fun. It's time for round 3. Miracles versus Delver. Let's do it. Alright, we're heading on down, and Justin has replaced himself with a bottle of water. So, Justin, what are you doing? Apparently he has decided to become one with water, so he is playing a blue deck, and apparently he's really transcended himself at this point. I guess Melvin has got some competition for the literal blue mage. Huh. That's fair. I'll take a 6 out of 10. Oh, Styrofoam Dingo. My bad. My bad. It's Styrofoam Dingo. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Oh, he's actually there. He had 2 H2 go. Thank goodness. I thought you just played so much blue that you actually turned into water. Risky. That was bold. That was a terrible joke. It was a terrible joke, and I accept that. Ha, that joke couldn't hold water with the crowd. Nice. I'll take a 1 out of 10. I'm okay with that. I approach humor like one approaches a hockey game. It's not about making the shot, it's about shots on goal. Oh, thanks, Storo. I appreciate that. Alright, so we're apparently going to just keep that on the board. That's some high-quality H2O. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Let's play some Legacy. Justin currently, he won his last round as well, so he is currently 2-0, and he's going to be going up against Blue Red Delver. This is actually going to be a fair, like, Donovan is not, he's normally a brewer extraordinaire, just runs some of those unusual things that I've ever seen. Twindom, if it is appropriate and friendly, then absolutely. If it is something that is positive, absolutely you can. If it's sweet, huh? Give us some. That sounds interesting. Except the winning team in hockey is all about shots made. Yeah, but you make more shots if you make more shots if more shots are made. Like, it's all about shots on goal. You know what? If you throw enough darts at a board, you're gonna get a bullseye. Not every shot can be a bullseye, but you can have 50 shots, which makes it more likely that you'll get one. More likely that you'll get one. Okay. Huh. What happens to lands? No, we're not going to get lands versus Enchantress. That sounds really miserable. Just awfully miserable. So this player should be kicking it off pretty shortly, I imagine. Oh no. We'll see. We shall see. Before his volcanic islands become volcanic floods. So, I'm not sure who is going to be on the play. I missed the die roll, unfortunately. I think he'll move it, Doro. I don't think that he's going to keep it there for a long time. And I think Donovan is going to decide to troll the stream the entire time. Nice. Ha! Fantastic. Very cool. So Donovan looking at a single island. We've got a bolt, a Gitaxian probe, and a couple of Force of Will. So this isn't a terrible hand, but it's not incredible by any means. I mean, the deck doesn't run a whole lot of lands. The problem is that he doesn't have red mana, and you don't want to be dazing when you're on that situation. Might end up keeping it for... Oh, it looks like we actually are going to go for the mulligan here. Otherwise, it looks like Justin is pretty happy with his hand, so he'll be keeping that one. Donovan going to be heading down to, I believe, 5. And that's not going to feel too good in a matchup that, you know... I don't know. For Donovan, it's going to be playing a very, very big tempo game plan. You drop down a Delver turn 1, make sure that it stays alive, and then you don't worry about anything that isn't stopping you from killing him in 7 turns. Or in the following 7 turns. So it's going to take being pretty patient. What? Justin just said... What are you doing? What are you doing? Troy, talk to me tomorrow. There's a good chance that I'll have a cough for you. Oh man, what have we got from Donovan? Ooh, we've got a Storm Chaser Mage. Jeff, you should enjoy this. There's gonna be a Storm Chaser Mage in Legacy. It's like your Jeskai aggro, but minus white, and in Legacy. Which is kind of the same, but not. So we'll see what Donovan does. He plays down a Volcanic Island, but doesn't kick off anything with it just yet. Justin going to kick off with a fetch into a basic island, and he's starting it off with the Sensei's Divining Top, such a powerful card in this deck. It gives him a whole lot of filtering, but we are going to daze it and stop that from happening. Elephant Grass stops Merit Liege, and Solitary stops Punishing Fire. Yes. Yes, it does. Solitary Confinement also stops Merit Liege. Like, Solitary Confinement stops everything. They're both really slow, and Lance has almost no ways to interact with it, except for a Corrosion Grip eventually. We're going to fire this one off, and it... Ooh! Donovan taking no prisoners. The only problem here, and, like, Donovan is doing a fine job of answering Justin's deck, except for the fact that he's not actually developing his own clock. He's only got the single land, or I guess he's got a Flooded Strand now, so I guess the days set him back a turn, but... He's going to brainstorm looking for something. He's got the fetch in hand to be able to dig away with that one. I like that. We find a Price of Progress. Probably going to be shuffling that away against this deck. The big issue with it is that Donovan hasn't established his own clock at all. Solitary Confinement doesn't stop Deaththreat Shaman. Is Deaththreat Shaman... It says you can't be the target of spells or abilities. Is that true? Is it each opponent? It is each opponent. Oh, Captain, that is a fun fact. Very cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Ah, man. So, yes, if someone wants to type exclamation point explain proxy, that would be wonderful to help out the Scarlet Spud there. It's good in EDH? Well, it's better in EDH. Huh. No, these are not sanctioned Legacy tournaments, actually. Our Legacy, our actual FNM format is, in fact, draft. We don't sanction our Legacy events to do this instead. Though we'll sometimes do, like, the weekend events and things like that. Those ones are sanctioned, but... For these ones, we just try and make them unsanctioned to where people can actually try out some different stuff. Any number of your deck cards can be proxied. And then any store credit that you win just goes towards building the Legacy decks that you want to build. Allows people to try things to break into the format, which it is just frankly hard to break into. You know, you still pay the tournament, like buying. Jay Will, it's great having you. Thank you so much for hitting that follow button and joining us. I look forward to seeing more in the future. Let me know where you're watching from, your favorite artifact, and what hat Dylan should wear in the future.
Also, what your favorite Halloween card is. There's a lot
like themed card?
Well, yeah, like any of those ones. There's been some really good ones. Most of them are black, but there have been some really good ones. Uncle Istvan, All Hallows Eve, that's my personal favorite.
That's a great one.
That's a great one. Oh,
man.
So we got the swinging in.
I think mine's the Field Creeper. I really like that card. I don't know why.
Field Creeper.
It's the new 2-1 for 2 from Eldritch Moon. It was just a Scarecrow 2-1 for 2 artifact creature. But that art is incredible.
One of the best artworks.
Like that, honestly, the card, like, I love it, and I am disappointed by it because that art could have gone to such a better card.
It was a disappointing card on an incredible artwork.
I've actually, like, drafted it. I've drafted it purely because of the art, even though the card isn't incredible.
Well, it's not terrible in draft because
it's a 2-1 for 2.
Right.
That's
and it can fit
playable
in
in any color.
That's why it makes it so good. It's almost a grizzly bear.
Yeah.
But it's an artifact with the best art ever.
Yep. So Field Creeper gets my vote just because of that art.
That's a good one. So we got main phase Brainstorm because he played the fetch. Drops down the top. Justin's feeling in good situation here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does, Vikes.
Sure, why not? But only you got to pick which half though, because it is technically 2 cards.
So we do have a Price of Progress in Donovan's hand. It's a little bit interesting that I think he ended up drawing that actually. He shuffled and then drew it. Probably going to be coming out for the post-board games. Price of Progress, like, it deals 4 damage right now. That's honestly about as good as it ever gets.
Yeah.
Normally Price of Progress is pretty bad against Miracles, and I think Donovan is kind of walking into the situation in which it's decent. Experiment 1. Nice. The ooze is...
oh, yeah.
The ooze.
Another fetch land? Oh, Donovan can deal
8 damage.
Well, Assuming that he doesn't fetch for the basics, which we know that deck runs a lot of basics.
But then he's dealing 6 damage because Justin had to fetch.
Oh, that's true. And forcing him to get basics.
Yep. Okay.
Jester's Mask, yeah, I'd count that one as a Halloween card. You could use it as a...
It's a mask.
It's a mask, yeah.
I would even count Koth, actually.
Koth?
Yeah. Everybody wears costumes for Halloween.
Oh, really? is that a known fact? Did we run a poll?
I'm sorry,
on
do
that
you not have a Halloween costume?
one? I got nothing. I don't even know. Rakdos? Yeah, Rakdos got something. Let's go back to the Halloween stuff. I don't know how I feel about your puns.
So
What's Justin got in hand? What's Justin? He's got a swords and a pre-dig? That's not... B plus and a 3 out of 10. Whoa, those are... I mean, it wasn't terrible.
Captain, no, 1 out of 10 is perfect for Captain.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad then. That's pretty close to the same one.
So we've got the Forcible Bolt and Press of Progress. Honestly, I fully expect Donovan, like, he should probably fire off this Press of Progress. I don't think Justin's ever going to tap out to make it worth it.
No. Because he basically... Well, actually, it's not a bad idea because he's saving his fetch lands so he doesn't get just stuck with top and 3 garbage cards. So
like, if you fire it off, it forces Justin to start fetching.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those things where, like...
Brainstorms become worse.
Yep. Yeah, those fetch lands are just... He's just going to sit there, and this is what Miracles does.
Mm-hmm.
They sit there, and they look at those 3 cards, and if they just don't like what they see, they fetch it and see what else they can get. And Donovan is not winning this game right now, because Delver is tempo, and he is... Oh, okay.
Like,
Well,
Donovan...
He's got something. He's got something.
Yeah, Donovan... This is, unfortunately, the first time that he's established a threat all game. The cards that are upside down are the ones that Justin is aware of.
No, I think he accidentally... I think Donovan recognized that his cards were upside down.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, well, he had a
was
Scalding
just-
Tarn that was upside down that was...
He was just doing it.
No, I think it was an accident. Oh.
Turn your head and cough.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty funny.
That's really funny. That's really funny. Turn your head and cough. That's good stuff. All right.
Maybe I'll start doing that whenever I'm playing Scred.
Be a pretty...
that might. I don't know. I don't want to push it too far.
No, that's pretty funny. All right. So what do we got here? I think he's gonna price him right now.
Oh man, are we gonna take 4 to deal 6?
Well, we got him.
Honestly, like, it forces Justin to either use a spell out of his hand. I like firing it off right now because I think you're exactly right about the point about eliminating his ability to shuffle. So we do get a prowess trigger, and it looks like we're going to respond to that.
Response to the prowess
Probably
trigger.
because it's a swords, to where Donovan only gains 1 life as opposed to more.
He's going to snap sword something.
Probably snap swords it to where Donovan only gains 1 life as opposed to 2.
Yep.
It's just functionally correct, even if, if Justin's winning, he's winning.
Yep.
Has his opponent Gataxian probed to this match? Has not.
I don't think any probes have gone off.
I don't think Justin is going to be running probe at all at any time.
Yeah, so he goes fetch. Here he goes double fetch into double basic.
Sure, but he goes down to 17 and then takes 4.
Yep. So that's not bad.
I mean,
Donovan takes...
He came out ahead. The
Donovan
problem is that
also takes 4. Yeah.
Justin does have the Snapcaster, though, and that's actually a pretty nice tool.
Mm-hmm.
Donovan tapped out for that, so he's in a little bit of a rough spot. He's got a Bolt, which can maybe handle that, but at that point, I'd rather be firing it at Justin.
Mm-hmm.
I think the big problem is that...
Get him really close to just where he can't do too much more.
Mm-hmm. And Donovan just kicked things off with a Daze early on. He was on the play. Dazed, went for that one, but the problem is he was never able to establish his own threat until that Storm Chaser Mage. Yeah. So all these cards that were disabling Justin, he wasn't capitalizing on that. And so Justin has really had a lot of free reign in this game, and I think that's been the problem of why Donovan has been really unable to get an upper hand.
Tempo's tough against Miracles, because once they get just a few cards, you just feel like, swords, snap swords is just, that's a tough one to get through.
I was talking about Donovan? True, but I doubt that Donovan would hold his own cards upside down if he cast a probe.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm pretty sure he is running probe. I haven't seen the list entirely.
I would expect so. If you're running Storm Chaser Mage, I assume that you're running probe.
Right.
That.
So what's interesting in this is this a deck that could see those the new lands?
The fast lands?
Yeah.
I think it's possible, but in a lot of ways, like, this deck is probably running Slim all the
Actually,
way down to...
I was going to say, you're probably, if you're running Price of
You're running
Progress...
like 14 lands, maybe.
If you're running Price of Progress, you're probably not running the new ones.
If you're on Price of Progress, plus 14 lands, plus some Wastelands, I'm not sure if I want to dedicate that many slots when I could dedicate more of it to fetches, a couple of basics,
Donovan almost
to make the Price of Progress better.
Ponder. That would have been no good. So here's a free shuffle.
It's all good, Robinson. It's all good.
It is all good. Northwest Robinson. Glad to have you in the Northwest, assuming that's what NW stands for. If not, then I am sorry.
Come join us sometime.
Come and hang out.
Oh yeah, he does have the main board Red Blast, and it's sweet.
And he throws a Tundra? That's not a good idea.
We watched it all the way to the end.
Yep. Yeah.
The main board Red Blast is really sweet, but we're going to try and force this one. Oh! Savage.
And that pretty much is probably going to seal that.
First middle initial.
Oh, actually in the Northeast. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, trigger is gonna. This one feels like it's. Yeah, there's the brainstorm and reveal. This one's pretty much over at this point. Like, I don't think.
No, yeah.
I don't think a deck running primarily 1 and 2 drops is going to get through a counterbalance and Sensei's Divining Top. So.
No, I mean that lock is just so powerful. It's basically Justin's best out. Donovan's game plan is drop Delver, and then just try and counter anything that's actually going to stop them.
Let's see if he's.
Interestingly enough, Twindom, Donovan is running the new Reveler. He's running Bedlam Reveler.
No, is he?
Oh yeah.
That's pretty good. I mean, it gets around a lot of stuff. I mean, like, you can't. There's no way he's counterbalancing that because what is it, an 8 drop minus a bunch of stuff?
Yes.
Originally,
it is red, and then 6.
6, yeah.
I remember that because that's exactly why I'm not running it in Burn. If I have 6 instants or sorceries in the deck, I'd rather cast one more spell and win.
Yeah, they're probably dead or close enough to it. So he's got Grafdigger's Cage, through the Drake, another Price. Definitely, I don't think the prices are super good in this right now.
I think Price comes out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Flusterstorm, maybe?
Grim Lavamancer is a pretty good one.
I like Grim Lavamancer.
You get that out early, and he's going to have a very tough time dealing with it.
I think Flusterstorm and Surgical, I think Winter Orb comes in.
Cough with his hand in the cookie jar? No, dude, I love it. That's so good. We love puns here. If we could just do a stream about puns, it would, if anyone would actually show up, we would probably do it.
Mm-hmm.
By we, I mean him, because I don't really do anything.
You support us. That's pretty big.
I make sure that the internet works. And it's like 99% working by itself, so I don't really do a whole heck of a lot.
I mean, yeah, you make these tournaments happen. You support us. You got us going early on. I don't know. I think that you are absolutely a role player in this.
Nice.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I didn't see what Justin brought in, but I'm assuming it's probably just more counter magic.
Possibly some. You could go for some counter magic to fight some fights over in the counter battles, but honestly, I might just try and go for a couple of tools that might help me capitalize on slowing down Donovan's creatures. Because the way that I lose this matchup isn't
by not drawing an answer to a single creature, basically.
It's by it's not having enough answers because Donovan's going to force him to have more than one answer per question.
Yeah, and I mean, not to mention he can try to win the counterspell war, but if Donovan is able to get a creature out, even if it's countered or not, that prowess is still going nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Stoneblade. I think that some people still do play Stoneblade. There are some. I'm trying to think of what. Most of the Stoneblade decks, I think. What is it? Deathrite. It's what Esper splashing for Deathrite. I think there are some other grindier decks that can just get there a little bit more often.
I think that unfortunately Fair is not the way to play in Legacy.
Yeah, it's
when
kind
there's
of
a
one of those
one-mana
Fair
wrath.
decks. Yeah, it's the Fair deck that there's so many combos. There's
I'm
so many
watching them
unfair
all.
decks. That's another good point. Death and Taxes is just essentially the same thing. You just swap out Thalia for Deathrite Shaman and still hose a lot of different decks.
Dead Guy is a classic. That's old Chris Bakula magic. Oh, man. Let's see. What else have we got?
Changes to Reanimator, yeah. Collective Brutality is amazing.
Are you on the new Kogado? I don't Koglo? I don't know quite what that was. Thank you so much. It's great having you. You're a rock star. I look forward to seeing you more in the future.
Yeah, collective brutality is fantastic. You're able to usually what we or I say we mostly Chase, and then I was kind of feeding off of what he does. Dropping is a charm. It's essentially almost the same card. You don't really need the counter magic in it for the most part. It's generally always a discard and or damage spell.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you're able to do that, and then also is uncounterable discard. In case you got a reanimate spell in hand, it is fantastic.
Yeah, that card is gas.
Turn one Delver.
Honestly, just collective brutality is just such an incredibly good
Uncounterable discard is
uncounterable discard, a way to hate on all. It's an insane card.
the fact that I can, against Death and Taxes, which is a very difficult matchup, the fact that with a single card I can discard a creature, I can kill a Thalia, and then I can remove the Swords to Plowshares from their hand is okay. For 2 mana, well, I guess 3 mana? That's bananas. Uh-oh.
Monastery
Monastery
Swift.
Swift.
No, I know.
Monastery Swift. Alright, fine.
It's the spear and it's running fast.
Donovan?
We got there. What? Box time?
Not next week.
It's a Swiss spear.
Not next week.
It's a Swiss spear.
Not next week.
It's a real card. It's a real card. Not the top.
Is it a piece of paper?
No, it's white out. It's actually white out. It's a legit card. It's a real card.
Then it's fine. Koga? Thank you so much, Koga. That is a real Monastery Swiss spear that has been whited out. No, that is not a proxy. That is a whited out actual Monastery Swiss spear. Koga, it's great having you. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, that's okay. That's funny. He earned that one. He got me on that one. He earned it. So, a brainstorm from Donovan. Oh, we're gonna draw 3, put 2 back, and use this flooded strand to shuffle away what we don't need. It's a drawing of a spear that's being really swift, yeah. It's that's funny. Okay. Donovan, if you're watching this feedback later, you win this. You won. You win this one. Got me there. Alright, so we have a Swift Spear and a Delver of Secrets, which is not transformed as of yet. Justin, having just a basic mountain plus, ends up taking down... I mean, he's got a Pyroblast and an island. Not too much happening here. I think Donovan's actually off to a really great start. He's got the early threats down. He's got a Force of Will in hand. He's got a Sulfuric Vortex in hand now. Might just be looking to use that as a way to close the game out fully, but right now he's applying enough pressure that Justin is in trouble. He needs an answer soon. He needs it now, and it's got to happen. He does have... Looks like the mom's... Oh, I don't think he's got the Terminus in hand. Maybe he's looking to fire off, draw into a Terminus, put one on top, and then try and survive next turn and go for it. Koga, yes it is. That is brilliant. I don't think that we see a Terminus. Justin is actually in a really bad spot. I think we're going to see a Game 3 really fast. This is just awful for Justin. I don't think he's got anything. He's got counterspells, which don't stop anything that's currently on the board. And explain Altered Command. Let's see what we can fire off. I mean, we've got a top, but that's just not going to be enough. Maybe Justin at the end step goes for a fetch, goes down a little bit, and tries to look to see if he can line up a Terminus on top. Maybe that's where we end up going with this. Oh, this altar is... I got beat. I got beat by Donovan. You see Force of Will in post-board against Delver? Yes, you do. I don't hate it. I mean, it's maybe not amazing, but Donovan's also very new to this deck. I don't hate it. It's not incredible, Because you're not going to win any counter fights against Justin, but I think his thought might be to just get really fast early on and just keep anything from landing. Just stop it. Just stop it. And we'll see if Justin wants to get to fight. He can win most. I think he can actually get into a forcible fight twice in a row right now. And I think we might almost fire off this. Interesting. So, are we going to... Okay, so we're going to get into the forcible fight first and see if it's worth it. We're going to pitch a Snapcaster Mage. To which a Gitaxian Probe is pitched to Donovan's own Force of Will. We're going to fetch in response, and we might be having Justin look. He's going to likely take a look at the top 3 with this Divining Top and see if he can find another counterspell that wins. On top, tap the top to draw it. If he does, but I think he has another Force Will in hand. Maybe he just is missing the second or the 4th blue card. Could be what we're looking at here, because I see an island in there. So maybe we're just looking to find the second blue card, which we found plenty of. Probably gonna get rid of a Predict. Seems like the card that you would exile and then you line up to draw into a Brainstorm. Seems okay. Okay. N.W. Robinson, I believe he brought in those cards. I'm more curious about what he would have taken out. I think he cut the Price of Progress first. And it looks like we've got a game 3. So he was gonna... Oh, man. So I think he was noticing that there's no Terminus, and Justin was in a spot in which even he was at 8... He would go down, take 6, and then at the upkeep, the Sulfuric Vortex would either kill him, or just whatever he was doing was going to end up killing him. There we go. Huh. Alright, so we've got a game 3 coming up. Re-looking at that board, it looks like we did take out a Ponder. So it looks like Ponder was the extra card that we were taking out. Jake 76th. Thanks so much for hitting that follow button. It's great having you. You're a rock star, and I look forward to seeing you more in the future. N.W. Robinson, reasonable. For Miracles, I'm not sure what he ended up taking out. He may have prioritized. It's possible that he only kept in X number of Force Will, maybe not all of them. You always play versus Delver by auto-cutting 4 Force Will off the bat unless they have 4 Lilianas. That's reasonable. Huh. Yeah, it was a lot of damage. Yeah, maybe he just didn't bring in enough to warrant taking out all of them. I couldn't tell you. So, we've got 1 minute on side heading into a game 3. And we'll see what we've got. So Justin's going to be on the play. That's going to be a pretty nice route for him to take. Turn 1 Census, Divining Top. Turn 2 Counterbalance. That's always a good way to go. Alright. Doro, I'm sorry to steal your satisfaction. I figured it was more important to go with it quickly. My bad. I should have just gone for it. I shouldn't have taken the satisfaction from you. If you want, I can unban them so that you can reban them. It's an option. It's an option. So, hi everybody, thanks for joining. My name's TJ. We're streaming out of Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington. We're having ourselves a brilliant time doing it. If you haven't joined us in the future, it would be amazing if you hit that follow button and join us more. We do this 4 times a week, standard, modern, legacy, all kinds of fun. Plus, we're going to kick it off with some limited next week for the first time. Oh, Doro, that was your... Oh, man. Man. All right. Well, now I'm just gunning. Now I'm going to be trigger happy. Ugh. All right, everybody, watch out. I'm coming for you, I don't know. Who am I coming for? Do I see the Iron Chef Bobby Flay in the chat? I didn't even realize that earlier. Bobby Flay is amazing. Thanks for joining, Bobby Flay. I know that you're likely not the real Bobby Flay, but still. Oh man, now I'm gonna be trigger happy. Ooh, and Donovan kicks it off with the Gataxian probe. We are looking at Red Elemental Blast. Since his Dividing Top Snapcaster Mage, Brainstorm, Surge Depositors, and a Fetchland, not a bad hand at all. You've got redundant. You've got Brainstorm with a fetch ability to work with. You've got a great counterspell in Red Elemental Blast. You've got a Snapcaster to make it redundant. And looks like Donovan's going to kick things off with an early fetch, possibly just looking at that board. Oh, mod team and viewers, you are all amazing. Oh, man. Oh, Sheikh Zula, no sacrifice here. This is just 100% how I be when I do what I do when I do what I do. Man, I hope Mayama Juan Blanco comes back. Hope they weren't Hope they come back. You stole my kill again, Doro. No satisfaction. Alright, well apparently it's Mod Abuse Friday. Amazing Mod Abuse Friday. So Justin's going to draw a card here, not going for that Brainstorm. Why not? Why not? Oh, man. So goes for the white source to be able to cast it. It's a little bit interesting that he went for the white source, actually. Because now he actually would have to fetch to use this Brainstorm, but maybe his intent is just to cast out the Senses Divining Top. I'm still a little bit surprised that he didn't go for blue-white. Maybe just to watch out for the Brainstorms that are going to be all over this deck. That strikes me as a possibility. Couldn't tell ya. Mayama Juan Blanco, it's good to have you back. I hope you aren't full of hate. And we are going to throw a Force Wheel at this to keep this Delver around.
And that's how the proxy took down the real cards.
Mayama Juan Blanco, you come back after 2 months, get banned. Well, now you're back after a couple of seconds. It's good to have you back. Alright, so we've got Nyland coming down. Iron Shift Bobby Flay getting excited about some of those miracle things. Can I get excited about that one? I'm still doubtful that that's the actual Iron Chef Bobby Flay. But you did put in a little silly tongue sticking out face when I questioned you last time. And I feel like that's what the real Bobby Flay would do. So, I'm a little bit more confused. I'm a little bit more convinced. A little bit more convinced. Still, we've got the, Savage. Alright, so on Justin's side of the battlefield, we go for the fetch, we get the blue source, we drop in the Senses Dividing Top. Donovan lets that one resolve, probably because he doesn't get a whole lot of say in the matter. However, he does have that Bedlam Reveler in hand right now. And we are going to draw in... Huh. For the real Bobby Flay. Tiny Slayers, it's okay. We'll all get through it just fine. We'll get through it just fine. We're going to put 2 of these away. We do have the Scalding Tarn to shuffle those away. Gordon Ramsay is a fraud. I actually like Gordon Ramsay. I think he's pretty great. I like a lot of those. Like, I like the Food Channel, actually. I used to watch a lot of the Food Channel. I used to work at a generic brand Blockbuster. And after a while, when we ended up partnering with a generic brand other company that ended up buying it, we would have TVs like playing stuff all the time, and we just put on Food Channel. It was awesome. But it's also I also can't watch Tangled anymore because we watched Tangled for like 2 weeks straight, and I distinctly remember having a dream in which I was singing the song from the beginning of Tangled, where like you brush and brush and brush and brush your hair, and I was like brushing my super short hair and just doing that, and it was just like I woke up the next day, went to work, and took it out, and haven't seen it since, and that was like, years ago. Fun fact about me, I guess. Fun fact about me. So, we're going to go for the fetch after putting those 2 cards back. Donovan going down to 15, but he still has the Delver of Secrets. The big problem is that he hasn't been able to actually transform it. And he does need to do that sooner rather than later, because he can only protect this for so long, needs to get as much damage as possible. And as that Swords to Plowshares ends up, I mean, it can take it down pretty decently. What's too much? I don't know. Huh. What? Actually, I don't think that we have much counter magic at all. Wisdom from TJ Fridays. He was not using a brainstorm to set up his flip. Or his transform. I do not think so. I think he was using a brainstorm to draw into a better hand. But, in general, I don't think that brainstorm... Like, I don't think that you use your brainstorms to actually transform your Delvers. Like, it's not bad, but it's certainly not the best use for them. Brainstorm is such a good card to be using it just to transform Delver of Secrets. It just draws you into a better hand. Donovan's also just relatively new at the deck, but I don't know. I'm not too disappointed by Donovan going about it that way, especially having the second one. He can set that up pretty nicely. And if he didn't want any of those cards, it's not worth transforming a Delver into an Insectile Aberration if you're going to dislike the card that you drew, because you're gaining 2 power to have a card that you don't want in hand. Doro? Are you spreading lies again? Tommy Moonray was in the booth. And we are going to lose those Delvers. So Monastery Swiftspirit joins down onto the battlefield. Justin left with just a Snapcaster and a Brainstorm and whatever he needs from the top 3 of his library. It sounds good, and that's because it is, but it's also not overly incredible. Firing off this Cataxian Probe seems interesting. When do we get more Tommy? Well, I don't know. Tommy was Me Amo and Blanca, you said you were getting tired earlier. I hope you have a great night. It was good seeing you again. I hope I get to see you again soon. Don't take it easy, alright? You've been working a lot. So we're going to use the Snapcaster Mage to flash back this Swords to Plowshares. And Donovan's going to untap and drop in a Bedlam Reveler of all things. That's awesome. Ooh, or do you drop the Winter Orb? I think you drop the Winter Orb. Or the Sulfuric Vortex. That's a hand of gas. That's actually not bad at all. So Justin in top deck mode, if Donovan draws something like... Can you imagine if Donovan draws a land? Bedlam Reveler plus Winter Orb as his plays for the turn? That is great. That is really excellent. Donovan's at 15, Justin's at 14. There's a Snapcaster on the field. That Bedlam Reveler would outclass it in every way. We also get the Storm Chaser Mage. Looks like we're actually going to drop that one down for now. So it looks like he's trying to be as patient as he can with this hand, and he really wants the 4th land to be able to go for that. It's a little bit greedy considering what options that you have. I may have fired off the Winter Orb at that point, because then I could untap and drop down the Bedlam Reveler. Hey, Dhamachandra! We always start at 7:30 Pacific time. It's currently 10:07 here in Snohomish, Washington, at a shop called Geek Fortress. But, so I guess about 2.5 hours ago. But thanks for joining. It's great having you. I do really appreciate it. I'm happy to be streaming this format. We do Legacy and Standard as well, or Modern and Legacy Standard as well. But I am really happy that we get the opportunity to actually, that we get to do this, you know? Did he not attack with the Haste Mage? It would seem so. It would seem so. Woo! Hey, that's awesome. Florida's a great place. Do we ever stream Commander? Not currently, unfortunately. Maybe one day, but it's unlikely because of some of the technical difficulties. We might try doing some limited next Monday, which is outside of the norm for us, and if that goes well, then it means that more experiments might be possible, but I don't know at the moment. It has a lot of difficulties that come with it. I'm interested in it, but it has a host of its own difficulties. So right now we are losing to a Monastery Mentor. Justin's looking like he's going to take down this game right now. The Orb. I think you have to drop Orb and then drop a Bedlam Reveler. But it looks like we're actually going to just try and beat the Bedlam in combat? That's dangerous. That's really dangerous. We drop the Orb, we drop the Brainstorm, we're going to draw a fresh 3. Let's hope that they're good. We might try and stream some 4-pack sealed with 30-card decks. Innistrad, Dark Ascension, Shadows over Innistrad, and Eldritch Moon. Which 4-pack sealed in honor of Halloween, and I'm gonna be prepping for it a little bit and coming up with ways that we can actually do it in a really good way of kind of having a sense of what's in their deck. We are definitely looking into doing that, and we just gotta try it, I guess. And if that's successful, then that leads the way to more formats that we haven't tried before. But again, that's all theoretical at the moment. Alright, so we've got 2 monks and a Monastery Mentor, Bedlam Reveler on the battlefield. And is that a Chain Lightning? Huh. Interesting. John Hightide, I will say Loading Ready Run has a lot more money and a lot more resources than I do. In fact, a lot more. A lot more. I'm open to the idea, but Loading Ready Run does what they do for a living. I do what I do with volunteer time, making no money. And not, yeah. And we are getting aggressive with the Bedlam Reveler? Whoa! Do it! Get after him. Why not? If you're gonna die, die in style. Justin doesn't block at all because he gets to untap and just get some good old-fashioned bashing in. Okay, so we have got a Terminus in hand. That's true, Shade of Hades, but I honestly don't know. It sounds like I might just try and put a good amount of it into doing cool things with the stream. Huh. Jeff Hoagland, it's not a bad idea, actually. It's not a bad idea, but I feel like we've been able to do a lot with a little, and people have been doing some really generous donations lately. It's been pretty nice. But I like the thought, Jeff. I like the thought. Yeah. Actually, I like your setup a lot, Jeff. I saw you set up that arch over. I like your setup. So, I don't know. Eventually, one of these days, oh! The Altered Swift Spear, which I can't complain about because it's not a proxy, but a legit altar. Comes down, and Donovan, even though he's losing, gets the purely conceptual win for that card. Yeah. Jeff, I like your setup. If you ever, I don't know, I'm not sure if we're doing anything that you're not, to be honest. But if you're ever interested, let us know, and maybe we can try and share some ideas on what's been successful and what hasn't been. But it seems like what you've got is a pretty good setup. So, not judging the quality, just putting out the thought if you ever wanted to. So the Winter Orb. I mean, I guess the backup Winter Orb does come down, and Chandra, I will tell you one thing. I love that Magic makes people feel, and I feel like, just to take a quick moment since this game is basically over, I feel like my job as a commentator, above all else, is to make Magic entertaining. We use a scoreboard assistant. It's like we have an OBS that is constantly checking the data that is coming from something called Scoreboard Assistant. Though we're soon going to be updating it to a Java overlay, which is going to have its own information that it feeds off of, and so it's going to be constantly checking the Java thing. But that one is something that David unfortunately knows. Well, I guess fortunately for David, and fortunately for me that David knows much more about it. I could probably very happily get the two of you in touch with each other, and I'm sure that he would more than happily talk a little bit about what he did and how he did it, because David is honestly just someone who is one of a kind in his prowess at what he does. And from the purely software standpoint, I'd love to get you two in touch if that's at all a possibility. Absolutely. I'll probably just keep in touch with you on Twitter, and we can try and connect. Hi, David. Not David. Dylan.
I'm Dylan.
You're
Hello.
Dylan. So Donovan gets the spiritual win. That is not a proxy. That is a legit altar.
He asked me before, and he's like, "Can I play an altar?" And he showed it to me. I'm like,
That's funny, because I opened it and I was like, not next to it. He goes, "It's not a proxy. It's an altar."
"Yeah, that is definitely an altar."
He wins. He got me that round.
It wasn't bad. I was like, okay.
100% worth it.
Yeah.
I will allow that forever.
This looks like a tough one. Man. So we got Prowess tokens, Donovan at 3, top decking mode, sort of, at tops.
But yeah, Jeff, I think David wrote a good amount of what we're going to end up using for our next overlay, so I'm sure the two of you could talk shop much better than I could.
Oh yeah, David sent me some pictures. He wants to have some fun with it. I'm like, go for it. He loves doing it. It's what he loves. So
yeah.
Does it have a different thickness?
I don't think so.
No. I mean, I had him hold the deck out, and I could not tell where it was, and that's kind of the way that I look at it.
If you can't identify where the card is
right.
in the deck.
I shuffled it up, and I looked at it, and I mean, we're playing with proxies.
We're in an unsanctioned legacy tournament that allows proxies.
Yeah. And
I think that altar's fine.
It was a little clever, so I let him run with it.
Donovan, if nothing else, will always find a new and inventive ways to troll me.
It was more clever than the decks he's put together, that's for sure. Some of the more recent ones. No, Donovan's against
Alcatraz Birdman.
Yeah, oh god.
The most prison-y of prison decks that is basically half a prison just because it's a prison deck and that its win condition is going to time because your opponent has to read all of your cards.
Mm-hmm. Ugh, those decks. So we got a top.
And so do you.
He's got Terminuses available.
I mean, Terminus is okay. The problem is that Justin was winning this pretty resoundingly, but dropping down the Swift Spear actually gave Donovan a little bit of a brick wall. Oh yeah, I was talking earlier. I think my main job as a commentator is to make the game, is to try and convey the excitement that I have as a commentator to all of you. That is, I think, my biggest job as a commentator. Talking about the game is important, having a knowledge of the game is important, but these are all things that anybody could theoretically provide. But it's not even that. But just making it so that when something exciting happens, it feels exciting.
Flail the arms.
You flail those arms. You get them going.
Because maybe they don't know it's exciting.
Maybe, and I think that's
maybe they're not sure about the exciting interaction that just happened, and then you can.
There's a reason that in baseball, when a home run happens, the guy doesn't go, all right, and he's going to hit it right out of the park, and that's going to get them 2 points on the board. That is the most boring thing ever. They go, yeah!
And yet soccer. Right. Soccer. It's it could be soccer and baseball can have similar scores all the time, and yet every goal is the most exciting thing you've ever heard.
Yeah.
Until the next goal, and then it's the most exciting ones you've ever heard.
And I think that is the primary job of a commentator, is to make it to where watching Magic, which is frankly not the most exciting game to watch. Just like it's getting there, but it's just not there right now.
No,
And-
it's even probably even more difficult with MTGO because like at least you have real people, real interactions, mostly real cards. I mean, we proxy for Legacy, but I mean like all the other ones are real.
Yeah.
But like I mean, MTGO to me like it seems very uninteresting to stream. But real cards are kind of cool because you can actually see the shuffling and what a real 50-minute round will look like.
Yeah, I think that you're absolutely correct about that. So I guess a little bit of an insight into what we are trying to do here.
Talk about that 6/6 draw. Actually, I will talk about that 6/6 draw.
No, later.
If you love
Nope.
defense, best DCF ever.
We got the best defense.
It's so good.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Jeff doesn't do it anymore.
Hey Jeff, how do you feel about MTGO?
I mean, Jeff does a good job of saying the things that other people don't in general.
Yeah. I have read on his feelings about MTGO, and there is not very much positive going on there, but like for very, very good reasons. I tried playing MTGO, and I really want to because like if I want to ever jam Legacy more and more like to practice.
Oh, Melvin's awesome.
He has a hard time playing Magic apparently. Holding, tapping, and shuffling. Those are the three things you gotta like. Magic's not even really playing the game.
I know
If you
you're
can
wondering
Shuffle,
who are those basic lands signed by? Do you know the answer? Donovan.
He signed his own
I think
lands.
he signed his own lands. Oh man.
Signed his own lands.
I think
So,
he-
anyways, MTGO real quick. I would love to use it, but how is that? It's I don't know. You know, I can't even get into it. Let's get back. So the Seahawks defense was
No,
I'm
there's a
just kidding.
game
I'm just kidding.
happening, dude.
All right, so we got a ponder here. I didn't see what he grabbed. Is it a 4 stays?
4 stays and
Land?
what? I think it's a land.
I think
Looks
it's a
like a
fetch
flooded
land.
strand. Are we taking the flooded strand just to be able to? Huh.
Donovan's a troll in good humor.
He is like. Don't get me wrong. I actually like Donovan's awesome to hang out with. Like he's a legitimately funny guy. Like talking to. He is an entertaining person.
He's every bit
But
of
he's
a 16 or
also-
17-year-old that you would expect.
But
He
he's
signs his own lands.
he's
and he
quite clever, but
plays
he's
Winter
also
War.
just such a troll about it.
Yeah, and very pretentious. Yes, actually,
He's not that pretentious. He did it 100% just to make people question it.
He is.
Oh man.
I don't know if. Yeah.
He's like he would my guess is that
Ooh, that's a good. I think you just ripped that counterspell the pithing needle.
Yeah.
Bit back to the playing real quick. No, Donovan's great though. He's not a bad guy.
no, I like Donovan's awesome.
An interview after the game. Ooh, and now we get Red Blast, the counterspell.
What do you name?
Well,
I
Flooded
think
Strand.
a couple of ideas float to the top of my
He's gonna crack that Flooded Strand just in case Donovan wants to pop that pithing needle on the fetch land. But I'm pretty sure Sensei's Dividing Top's your go-to.
I think that you're probably right.
Yeah.
A couple of ideas are definitely floating to the top. That one's
Yeah. Well, so
It's-
playing Reanimator against Miracles a lot, like pithing needle Sensei's top is not as detrimental as you would like think it would be.
no, because I'm actually a
It's-
little bit surprised that he didn't do this differently. I expected him to actually put it on top and then shuffle his library with the fetch.
He did. He had 2 in play. He flipped it. He topped, flipped the counterspell, drew the counterspell, fetched it away, topped again.
No, I'm surprised that after he got hit by the red elemental blast,
Oh.
he didn't activate his top, put it on top, and then crack the fetch to leave no targets for the pithing needle first of all.
Well, you can still name.
But now he just has a top in hand that isn't doing anything. Like he would name top, but now
Oh,
Justin
you could
drew
have a
this
fetch
top.
land in hand. I'm not sure what he's got.
Like he could have a fetch land, sure, but now he still has the top in hand. Because I'm just a little bit surprised by his ordering on that one.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can always ask him afterwards, but it is. I've so many times have I like dropped the needle and put it on top, and like you still feel they can still do so much with Ponder, with Brainstorm, and the deck. I mean, it definitely hinders them, but it is still a very like they can still do
Oh, you're right.
More
You would
than
still have a
enough.
top in hand because he would draw the other top. No, you're right. You're right. My bad.
Let it be known. I was
You're right.
about something.
You were absolutely right.
Cool. Glad we covered that.
It's Blue Red Delver with
Winter
Orb.
Orb. Is that a new thing? It is new
It's not
here.
new.
Well,
It's actually not too new.
is it? I don't know. Blue Red Delver is
in
not.
Blue Red, it does all kinds of wacky nonsense.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, like in a deck that has literally can cast anything with a Winter Orb in play, still like is more than enough. So
Twindom, the problem is that Donovan would 100% do that. He has the dice on top of his deck to remember his trigger, I think. I think it's to remind himself.
so we got a snap in play. I can't tell what's in his graveyard, but I'm assuming it's probably.
I see a red elemental blast.
He's
You've
got
a
counter spell.
swords.
He's got all sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm. How many people have cut themselves with sleeves? I don't know. Like...
I know I haven't, so that's 0. Have you?
Whoa, I have not.
We're 0 for 2. In this small poll of the two of us, that is 100%. No one's cut themselves.
So I
with
guess
sleeves.
we'll 0-2 and drop it?
That sounds like pretty much my professional career. The old 0-2 drop. So,
To be honest, like I tend not to question a whole lot of what Donovan does, with the, like why he's moving the dice up in numbers, because I know he just wants me to ask.
double fetch?
Because I know that
To
he wants me
what?
to ask.
Are we going to have a hard cast Force of Will?
I have possibly a hardcast Force of Will.
I think Donovan's about ready to learn a grave mistake here on why you do not do that. Because now he can't Force of Will anything.
I mean
He's
he's made one dead card in his hand. That's true. Oh yeah, that's
also
Donovan's
with the
turn.
Winter Orb in play, tapping out. I don't know how I feel about any of these moves. Donovan's having a tough time right now. He's not sure.
Oh man.
Hard casting the Force of Will.
But he moved them away. He's not counting anymore.
I don't know what he was doing. I apologize for those dice people. I do apologize. So now Donovan is tapped out and he has his own Winter Orb.
I see the Tropical Island. Does he have Ancient Grudge in his sideboard?
It was
This
either
is Josh. He has to.
Josh's deck. No, I think he had the. It
Oh,
was
no, he's
the
got the Time Growth and all that
Corrosion Grip.
Does he? Okay.
Yeah.
He might. Okay, so a Corrosion Grip.
So
I like that.
Donovan put himself at 2. Is he actually at 1 though? Oh no, he gained a life from the swords. That's what it was. So Donovan's actually at 2 life.
And so now he can Forcible.
And then that's it.
Value.
Put a creature out just to get sorted, just to be able to force stuff later.
My plan is good. Donovan is so clever.
We have really reached the pinnacle of pro here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're untapping.
He's got 1 land this turn. That's pretty good. You can cast a whole lot. You can cast a lightning bolt with that.
He could cast almost all of the creatures in the deck.
He can put Justin to 5. The interesting thing is that he actually has to make that prediction before he draws, because of like oh no, because he doesn't run Nimble Mongoose.
No.
Never mind. So actually,
no, it's
he
just straight red blue Delver.
Yeah. Bring it on tap.
So look, we're going.
Why is?
Here, switch.
What are the dice on the deck?
Oh, that's a Josh thinking he's funny.
Oh, it's Josh being a troll.
Yeah,
What's the dice on the deck?
it's nothing. The dice on the deck is nothing. Don't worry about it.
Okay, done.
I didn't do that.
I know.
Oh, family friendly.
I actually said
no
that
hat.
I wasn't. I actually said that I wasn't going to ask, because it's Donovan just trolling me, and then they asked me to ask.
It's Josh. He's been doing this since he finished his match and got bored. He was doing it to me too.
Because I have my little colored counters for my Utopia Sprawls, and he was picking them up and putting them on everything. He's like, oh, you need to remember your Mirror's Guile. So we'll put one on the Guile, and one on your library. We'll put one on your opponent's Chalice. He's got the dice to remind you it's on one, but here's a counter to
So
make
this
sure
is
he
to remember
remembers.
the Winter Orb, and 1 to remember the Pithing Needle.
And then he's been taking him up too. Like, I don't. He's doing what he's doing.
If you're ever wondering, by the way, there is a core group of 3 distinct trolls in this store.
There are.
Between Corbin, Donovan, and Josh,
Oh yeah.
they have got a monopoly on bridges.
Yeah.
But they're like all legitimately good-humored and just entertaining about it.
Yeah, that's very true. Like, it's not malicious. They're just doing it for fun.
Yeah, and the three of them are even good at it, which is a problem because
Right.
like they're good at it.
Yeah.
All right, so Justin's down to 7. I think Donovan has double bolt.
Oof.
Yeah, which
Almost feels good.
he's not shabby. And honestly, I thought this was going to be such a game over when Justin actually got out this Monastery Mentor. But Donovan survived through it really well. He used a
Okay.
Bedlam Reveler to some excellent use.
Oh, nice.
Justin ended up having to terminus the board after he established a pretty substantial board.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, Justin is really
Yeah.
is in kind of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
He's got, oh man, that is just, and this Winter Orb is just absurd.
All right. What does Donovan draw this turn? Oh.
That is that an? It
Not-
looks like a Delver of Secrets.
Yep.
Okay.
I believe that is the Delver he just drew.
Honestly, that's not bad at all.
Not terrible,
Your
though.
worst case scenario is going up to 3, which enables you to
Mhm.
actually protect more spells with Force of Will.
Yep. Yeah, that's, not a bad place to be at all. 'Cause
No.
Especially, and there it is.
Boom.
'Cause especially with Donovan at 2.
Do you fire off the Force here?
That was
I
good.
might.
Um,
Because, like, hitting just once.
Justin has ample to fight over it with, though. I don't know if I'd want to go for
That's a good
Force.
point. But maybe that frees you up to fight with the Bolt. Like, if you get Justin to fire off
That's
the Force of
true.
Will now, he's at
Okay,
6.
that's right. But if Justin's got something like just a counter spell, that's not going to feel great.
Fact.
Getting Justin to fire off a Force of Will right now would be pretty satisfying. But let's see what Justin's got.
Plus, drawing him into a counter war
Mhm.
might keep Justin from actually like having a very well established mana base to get into one over the bolts or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I'm tempted. You know?
the Winter Orb makes this all a lot more interesting. All right, Donovan going for the Force.
And that one, like, Justin doesn't even fight over it. The problem is that Donovan's entire out is the fact that Justin doesn't have a one drop on top of his library at that point.
Yeah.
So I actually fully understand him choosing to fight over this.
Yep. All right, so what does Donovan have here?
That's a land.
Land not terrible right now, assuming he has...
It's not great.
I assume he's got at least one more Trop to fetch for in the deck.
But, I mean, the Trop, like, he's not Teamer. The Trop is just for Crozen.
Right, well, and the Trop is all just to continue to have mana through this Winter Orb.
True. Here's the ultimate move that we're kind of expecting from Donovan at this point. Finding out that he secretly kept in a single price of progress, just so he can fire it off, get a draw, and move into another game 3.
Yeah.
Is he counting turns with Winter Orb with the dice?
More or less.
I guess? I don't know.
Yeah,
Thanks for the host, Z. It's good to seeing you. Hello to everybody who is just joining us.
Hello.
You're joining us at the absurd finals.
Yeah.
Justin has had enough of them.
Yeah. All right, and Donovan coming for the
I
Bedlam
like this.
Reveler.
There's no 8-drop in the deck. He's not even
Yeah,
going to trigger this. I love this. Bedlam
Yep.
Reveler is such an interesting piece of technology. You discard your hand, which actually, is he going to fire off these bolts in response?
Looks like he is going for the Force on it, yeah.
He goes for the Force, gets within bolt range.
Donovan still does have to finish his delve, though. Yeah. I'm going to let him know. Ooh, nice. Because that
If he
delve...
doesn't have the counterspell, this is it.
All right, yeah. Let's
Well, I need to
see.
set up Twitch alerts for hosting, yes. Sorry, I'm in hype. I'm in hype mode right now.
Yeah, I mean,
I think he's counting the counterspell still in the deck.
yeah, I mean, I
Get
do
him.
not blame him.
Get him! I think you fire it off. Like you're not gonna get another chance.
Yeah, at
Every
this
time
point,
that
you just go for it.
You have invested a TJ bolt to finish it out. You don't counter that, Justin. You
No,
don't.
that-
That's a predict.
It is a predict, yep. So he knows what's on top.
Which is a counter, and he just needs to draw into a counter.
He needs to draw into, at this point, a Force of Will or leave a 1 on top. Alright, so there was 2 not 1s and...
a snap
Oh, ho, ho, ho! We can hear everyone going wild out
No!
there. Oh,
The TJ bolt almost takes it.
that was a really satisfying play to watch, though. Oh, man.
The worst part is that is the
Wow.
only use for Sense's Divining Top in the deck. Because there's
At
a
this
Pithing
point-
Needle naming top.
Oh,
That was
man.
literally the best possible use for Sense's Divining Top
That
in the
is-
entire game right now.
That is fantastic. Wow.
Draws garbage. flips the one.
And another blind flip. Amazing. Oh, wow.
Oh no! Then the Snapcaster is gonna tie this game up so hard.
Oh.
With a brainstorm available, like if you want to just set whatever you need on top to stop Donovan's
And
last.
just going for it. Oh.
No!
Donovan going for his blocks with Runner Orb. Justin terminusing Orb. Beautiful. Oh, man. That is satisfying.
And it's just breaking into an all-out grudge match. Oh my!
I love it.
That was delightful. Absolutely delightful. Let's head back up to that booth. We'll see you all out there. Magic at its finest
No
happening
kidding.
there.
That was incredible to watch.
Hello, my name is TJ.
My name's Joe.
We're streaming out of Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington. Just watched the exciting conclusion to the third and final round of the evening happening there. But if you haven't yet, be sure to hit that follow button. We do stream 4 times a week. Remember, next Friday, unfortunately, no Legacy stream. I will be in Dallas getting ready. Help you comprehend that. Okay, so Counterbalance is a card that says that whenever an opponent casts a spell, you can reveal the top card of your library. If they share converted mana cost, you counter that spell.
Yep.
So, knowing he fired off a lightning bolt and there was a 2-drop on top.
Yep.
So it resolved, and Justin was at 3.
Yep.
So he fires off the second lightning bolt.
But then, because Justin knows he just has the 2 on top, nothing to do there, he goes for the predict. He knows exactly what's on top of his library. He's able to get the predict successful. Mills the counterbalance. Yep. So
Mill a card. If you name a card, mill 1. If you named it correctly, draw 2.
otherwise, draw 1.
Otherwise, draw 1.
So he knows exactly what the top is, so he mills it, draws 2, a land, the Snapcaster Mage, leaving the exact 1-drop on top, countering the bolt, buying him the
The
time.
TJ bolt, no less.
And
I signed that lightning bolt and it failed.
the Snapcaster he ended up drawing was the Snapcaster he used to get exact lethal on his opponent.
So one of the 2 cards, he drops that at Donovan's end step, and then just swings for 2.
Yep.
Oh, man.
And saw a couple questions going by earlier.
Did you beat the lands?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
of course.
did.
You had solitary confinement?
Also, yes, those were proxies. We do a lot of proxies for our Legacy Nights. I saw that question go by a bit earlier. Doro, awesome. Savalonik is super rad. But lands is not a hard matchup for me.
What's like your best matchup?
Elephant Grass!
Against Merit Liege?
Yeah.
And then Solitary Confinement eventually beats their Punishing Fire?
So, the third game I think was my favorite in that match. I go, turn 1, Miri's Guile pass. He goes, alright, do nothing. Turn 2, Chalice. So, my land's opponent has a Chalice on 2, or a Chalice on 1 on turn 2. I'm like, alright, just keep casting Wild Growths, Utopia Sprawls through it.
And just draw cards.
Because I'm holding Replenish in hand. So I just fill up my yard. I'm drawing, just intentionally discarding enchantments every turn. I eventually replenish for 10, including an Eidolon of Blossoms, which is going to see all these enchantments. Yeah, Coleman conceded before I actually drew my cards. Because those 10 cards included a Solitary Confinement. So post-replenish, I was going to have 3 Enchantress Presence, Eidolon, Solitary Confinement. I had double Sterling Grove, which means...
Everything had sure...
And Coleman had a Maze of It, but he can't maze my Eidolon because it's an enchantment creature. So, and there was also the Rest in Peace in there, so he can't Punishing Fire me out. So I was just going to get him with Eidolon beats.
Brilliant. Now, Joe, did you draw a card when you were beating in round 2 when we saw you? I think in the very last turn, right before you dropped down the helm against Eli, I think you forgot to discard, but you did draw.
Did I not do the Solitary correctly?
I think possibly you just forgot that you
Okay,
had
yeah, that is very possible.
I assumed that you already had the helm in hand.
Yeah, I had the whole thing in hand. I was just waiting on tap at that point. My apologies for that. I got a little antsy about just dropping my combo in play.
He got so hyped.
So at that point, I think of it as I just forgot to move my Sawjack confinement into the graveyard and didn't pay for it. I guess.
There you go.
But yes, I was the Enchantress player tonight. It was a very fun game. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that now.
Oh my goodness. That was some exciting final magic.
It was.
That was delightful. Alright, let's find you all someone to host on over to. Realistically, if you haven't yet, type !haunt, as in
Yes.
a haunting experience, or like spooky ghosts haunting things. I don't know. Anyway, do that one. Find out how you can win. There are only a couple of days left. If you want to win a Force of Will, an Infernal Tutor, and a Damnation.
Ooh.
And you just gotta watch the streams that are in the Rogues Gallery. We're actually gonna host you over to one of them. Get more of those clues. Send in the email. You get, like last I heard, I think there was 8. Apparently we're now up to maybe 11.
Oh, wow.
But your odds are not awful at all. Like, that's decent odds for literally almost no effort. Actually no cost.
Yep.
To possibly win a fairly expensive like pool of cards.
Yep.
Ninewalker, no, but I can do that and just tweet it out. So I'll put that out on at Red Baron MTG as soon as I possibly can. But that's where I'm at. So I guess if you don't have any questions, comments, or anything like that, toss them in. Otherwise, we'll start doing our closing thoughts. Joe, what were your thoughts for the evening?
Thoughts for the evening? I'm very happy I got to play Enchantress tonight. Really wish I could have tested it out against Miracles, though.
Yeah, I think you were hoping that your new blossom, your
Carpet of Flowers. Yeah, picked up the 4 for the deck. Was hoping to get a chance to test them, but unfortunately, no.
Hey, Coleman. We'll tell him.
The stream heard you sneeze and says bless you.
The stream says bless you.
They heard you sneeze.
Oh, thanks, stream.
Alright, so we're going to host you all over to Murph, good guy. He's, I think, doing some drafting or something right now. But, from all of us here at Geek Fortress, my name's TJ.
My name's Joe.
I'm Justin. Surprise.
And my name's good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I hope it's amazing. We'll see you all next time. Remember, next weekend, no streams, but we will be back up and running, and hopefully with a sub button. We'll see you all there. Stay amazing.